adopted and submitted to the Speaker. But Committee Alternate Member Vusi Shongwe's appearance before the Madlanga Commission yesterday dominated initial discussions. EFF MP Leanne Matthys submitted that Shongwe was wrong to single out Julius Malema in the decision to not call crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan as a witness.
To the commission, or is given testimony under oath, that a decision to not bring a particular witness here, in particular Major General Khan, to the committee was based on Honorable Malema, the EFF in particular, one member.
Matthys says the committee has 11 members that have a vote, and this must be corrected.
And it might have to be that we even have to write to the commission and clarify.
Members of the committee say Khan was not invited because the initial evidence before the committee had vindicated him. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
DA leader Jordan Hill-Lewis says he expects his new appointments in the executive to raise the bar in government. They will be sworn in at a ceremony at the Union Buildings this afternoon. President Cyril Ramaphosa announced the reshuffle of DA ministers last night following a request from the DA. He has also invited the ANC's Dina Pule back into cabinet after she was fired as a minister 13 years ago. Lindsay Dentlinger reports.
The DA holds 6 ministerial and 6 deputy minister positions, with changes being made to 2 cabinet posts and 4 deputy ministers. Former leader John Steenhuisen is the biggest loser, with a demotion from agriculture minister to deputy minister of trade, industry and competition. He's being replaced by former environment minister Willie Okamp, while former MP and Western Cape MEC David Mania replaces Okamp. Jordan Hill-Lewis says his new appointees were chosen to demonstrate the DA's difference in government.
They will show that the DA governs better for all South Africans and will work to get the economy growing, to get more people into work.
The new appointments come at a time when the party is in the spotlight over the lobbying of its ministers by a communications firm headed by founding party leader Tony Leon. Meanwhile, the party has rejected the return of Dina Pule as Social Development Minister, saying it appears the president has chosen the interests of the ANC Women's League over millions of South Africans who rely on social grants. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News.
900 people were arrested following nationwide anti-illegal immigration marches yesterday. This has been confirmed by Acting National Police Commissioner Puleng Dimpane, who briefed media on police operations this afternoon. Dimpane says majority of those arrested were undocumented migrants, while others were arrested for protest-related crimes. She says the Western Cape, Eastern Cape, Free State and KZN each recorded more than 100 arrests.
The majority of those arrested were illegal foreigners and looting as a result of law enforcement operations conducted alongside the protesters. Some were arrested for public violence, some for harboring illegal immigrants in terms of Immigration Act, some for business robbery at spaza shops, and so on and so forth.
Dimpane says the arrests demonstrate the police's preparedness and effectiveness in responding to the protests.
These arrests demonstrate that our law enforcement agencies were not merely present. They were proactive, disciplined, effective, and firm. Those who sought to exploit yesterday's demonstration for criminal gain were identified, pursued, and brought before the law.
While the eThekwini Metro will officially close the Durban drive-in site after the last group of Malawian nationals board repatriation buses this afternoon. 4 buses are loading the final group, which includes some migrants who arrived only last night. The migrants have been camping at the site since last week over fears of anti-illegal immigration protests. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Authorities say since last month, more than 20,000 undocumented foreign nationals have left Durban, Sherwood and other camps. Some were deported, others repatriated. Today, hundreds of Malawians are being loaded by public order policing and Durban Metro Police, leaving the city after weeks of waiting to go home. eThekwini Mayor Cyril Xaba.
After these buses have left, I don't think there will be a single soul remaining on the site. What is remaining now for us is to clean this site up so that it's ready, and by this weekend the site must be ready, cleaned up. Remember, this is a tourist site.
Xaba says the metro has provided 150 buses since the process began. The site's closure comes hours after nationwide demonstrations against undocumented foreign nationals. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And the U.S. has extended a temporary sanction waiver for a Serbian oil firm. This is aimed at allowing more time for negotiations over the sale of its Russian-held stake. Petroleum Industry of Serbia, the company, has faced U.S. sanctions since 2025 as part of a crackdown on the Russian energy sector. The sanctions came into play following Moscow's invasion of the Ukraine. Serbia remains a close Kremlin ally and one of the few European countries not to sanction Russia over its war against the Ukraine. Well, gold is trading at $4,026.55 an ounce. The rand is at 16.44 to the dollar, 21.76 to the pound, 18.69 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.95 a barrel.
El Dorado Park roadworks slowing down traffic heading towards Protea Glen. That's the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. Traffic lights still not working in Sunning Hill at Witkoppen and Rivonia Road, as well as in Sharon Lee at Malibongwe Drive and President Fushia.
And in your sport, Rebuhile Mofokeng, Europe-bound after Orlando Pirates confirm his departure to Belgian Giants. Well, Bafana are making their way back to South Africa following the exit from the FIFA World Cup. And we'll have some results from Wimbledon.
It's a partly cloudy afternoon in Gauteng today. Temperatures have peaked at highs of between 19 and 21 degrees. The top story in EWN, the EFF has slammed an MK Party MP who claims Julius Malema was instrumental in preventing crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan from appearing before Parliament's ad hoc committee.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app, DSTV channel 856,
92.7
and 106 FM.
Very good afternoon, everyone. It's 10 minutes past 3 on Wednesday, the 1st of July. This is 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. Welcome to the show. The plea deal struck between Vusimuzi Matlala and the NPA was upended today by Magistrate Ignatius Duprier in the Pretoria Commercial Crimes Court. The magistrate said the sentences handed down for fraud, corruption and money laundering should be harsher. So what happens next? I know that counsel on both sides met to discuss what had been put forward by the magistrate. No agreement was reached. They're back in court on the 13th of July. So what is possible between now and then? We'll put that question and some others to legal analyst Thabiseng Dubazana. That's after 4 o'clock. It is a huge day for the Proteas women tomorrow. One World Cup chance at glory gone, but one beckons at the T20 World Cup with a semi-final against the hosts England. Team member Danae van Niekerk joins us after 5 with the latest from the camp. At the Madlanga Commission, it's usually the witnesses that find themselves shifting uncomfortably, squirming occasionally, but today it got a bit awkward for one of the lawyers.
As a result of the leak, General Khan may well have been shot as a result of the leak from the commission. That's a possible way in which a reasonable listener would have understood what you said.
May I reply?
Yes.
I unqualifiedly, before you and the media, say that that is not my instructions and that is most certainly not what I intended to communicate to the media with my attorney and family members of General Khan present.
Thank you. May I say this then? If you are ever to make media briefings again, be careful of what you say and don't say anything that may tend to impugn the integrity of this commission. You should be very careful about that.
That was Chief Justice or Justice Madlanga, head of the Madlanga Commission, talking there to Zubair Khan, counsel for Major General Feroz Khan. At issue an interview that Advocate Khan gave to Newsroom Africa. Khomotso Modise is covering that story. She joins us at 3:20. And today is International Reggae Day. What is your favorite reggae song? I have to say that's one of mine, Bob Marley, from way back with Jammin'. Send us your song choices, please, to 072 702 1702. On the markets, the JSE having a tough day. The all shares down by 1,440 points, a loss of 1.3%. ABSA is continuing its difficult run after results yesterday, down by 4.2%. Kumba is off by 4.4%. Pick n Pay down by 3.5%. On the upside, South 32 is having a little soar, up by 11.4% on news that it has sold significant assets to Alcoa. Optasia has gained 2.5%, Aspen up 2.2%. The Rand, well, trading at 16.44 against the dollar. That's a 5-cent loss against the US currency. A euro will cost you 18 Rand 67. No change there over the last 24 hours. 21 Rand 75 will get you a pound. Our currency 9 cents weaker against sterling. That compared to this time yesterday. The oil price is down by 91 cents. Brent crude trading at $72.10 for a barrel. Stephen Criddis joins us with all the market news at 4:25. We'll get sport with Anthony Teixeira. Exciting developments for Relebohile Mofokeng. He's heading off to Belgium. That's exciting for him. Karabo Chale has the latest traffic news, and Mbali Dlamini joining us at 3:30 with the latest news headlines. This is 702 Drive. We're live in the place where you live, and if it's happening in 702 land, you will get to hear about it here first. But if there is stuff, as many of you did, by the way, yesterday, and we thank you for that. If there are things that you're seeing, hearing, learning about that we don't know about or don't know enough about, please do get in touch on 072 702 1702 or 011 883 0702. It's 14 minutes past 3.
702.
Let's walk the talk.
So today is the first day of the second half of the year, and I have, I suppose, a simple question. Answers, I'm sure, will not be entirely straightforward. But what are your goals for the second half of the year? What did you get done that you had set out to do in January in the first half of the year? But mainly the look ahead. What plans do you have? What do you have to particularly look forward to? By the way, this doesn't have to be all plans and self-improvement and stuff like that. It may just be something that you are really looking forward to. But the second half of the year, how's it shaping up for you, Jonathan Fairbairn? Good afternoon.
Afternoon to you, John, and afternoon to our 702 family. Probably two things. Hopefully going, if all things go to plan, on a nice holiday after our marriage.
Okay.
So no big bells and whistles or anything like that. It'll be home affairs or the courthouse with maybe one or two witnesses, and then off we will bounce to the destination of our choice.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Well, that's no small thing to look forward to, and hope the planning goes as perfectly as it can. How about you, Karabo Charlie? Things to look forward to or goals you've set yourself?
Well, I'm looking, the first half was pretty rough on the pocket, with the increase in the petrol and just everything else just going up, particularly the meat. But then I guess the second half is coming up with better news. The petrol price went down yesterday, I guess. Mm-hmm. So maybe hopefully that trajectory goes the way we like. Hopefully things get cheaper and we just get by, eh? Hopefully we just get by this year.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people will be echoing that sentiment and just saying, they would settle for a second half of the year less tough than the first. But maybe you've got something special happening that you want to tell us about, maybe a goal or a task that you've set yourself that you're determined to reach your second half of the year. Please give us a call on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 16 minutes past 3. Let's start the second half of the year, hopefully without too much of a traffic problem.
Yeah, John, at this stage, Rivonia roadworks causing delays. This is approaching the intersection of Witkoppen Road and Rivonia Road, while in Eldorado Park, roadworks are slowing down traffic. This is on the N12 westbound heading towards Protea Glen between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. Look out for those faulty traffic lights in Midrand at Lever and Olifantsfontein Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072 702 1702.
Drive home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive still to come on the show as well. There's been a big shedding of jobs in agriculture. What's striking for me, though, and very interesting, something I must admit I'm going to have to, I'm looking forward, rather, to learning something about. The losses are in the non-formal agricultural sector. Now, I don't know exactly what that is, but clearly that's not big farms and big agribusiness. But why so many jobs shed in this space? Because I would have thought that for many people has been a crucial buffer against poverty. People working small plots, maybe hiring a couple of people, keeping their family supplied with food and maybe producing a bit extra to either sell or maybe put into the barter economy. If they've taken a hammering, that can't be good news for the rest of us. But we'll find out more with Johan Kotze, who's CEO of AgriSA. He joins us for that at 10 to 4, 18 minutes past 3.
John Perlman
on 702.
3 to 6 p.m.
Well, a very interesting morning at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. I had seen the interview between Zianda Ngobo at Newsroom Africa, and she was interviewing Advocate Zubair Khan, who is acting for Major General Feroz Khan. And in the interview, he said a number of things that I must admit, I thought, okay. I wonder what this is all about. Well, that became an issue front and center today at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. There were other issues on the table in regard to what's going to happen with the possibilities of General Khan testifying in the future. But Khumotso Modise was there. We played Khumotso, very good afternoon to you, for the benefit of listeners. Some of the, I thought, fairly strong words from Justice Madlanga. What in particular was he and the other commissioners so concerned about? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. Well, initially what was being dealt with by the lawyers for Feroz Khan, particularly Advocate Zubair Khan, was an application for Feroz Khan to testify in camera. It became clear during the submissions that were being made that Advocate Khan had been saying that General Khan wants to testify only part of his testimony. So certain parts of his testimony are so sensitive that he believes should not be testified or spoken about publicly. The commissioners interrogated that quite a bit, and that resulted in them withdrawing this application. And it's important to say that this happens as Khan is in a hospital. We heard today from Advocate Zubair Khan that General Feroz Khan is unconscious in hospital, has been heavily sedated, cannot make an affidavit, supplement the affidavit that he's already submitted before the commission. So that was the first part. That application has now been withdrawn. The commission then shifted its focus to the second part, which is the interview that you've spoken about with Newsroom Africa's Zianda Ngobo, in which Advocate Zubair Khan had taken some questions and made some statements publicly about the Madlanga Commission. The first statement that he'd made was around, he came across as inferring that General Feroz Khan may have been shot as a result of the contents of his affidavit that he had submitted to the commission. And he had implied then that the commission may have leaked that affidavit, and as a result, he was then targeted and shot. Now, the commission's chair, Mbuyiseli Madlanga, then drew a timeline detailing how the submissions were made at around 11 p.m., and General Feroz Khan was then shot moments after that, because the ENCA journalist who was on the scene had arrived at 18 minutes past 11.
Right.
So that was really a way of pointing out that if there was this leak, of course, which the Commission really came across as offended by this being implied, this leak would have happened within minutes, really, from the time that he submitted this affidavit to the time that the shooting happened. So that was the first part. But the Commission also had a big challenge and an issue with statements from Zubair Khan about how certain personnel claiming to be from the Commission had gone to the hospital to go check whether General Khan was indeed shot and whether he was in a critical condition. And the Commission has taken issue with this because they say that this creates the impression, number one, that Justice Madlanga sent people there to go check, which he says he would never do, but also now highlights a really important issue that is very concerning, Dr. John, that there are people claiming to be from the Commission, acting as if they are from the Commission, and going to places like the hospital, lying and saying that they represent the Commission. So that was what was dealt with there. But I think really what came across strongly was General Madlanga admonishing the lawyers or rather Justice Madlanga, Dr. John, admonishing the lawyers for General Feroz Khan, saying that they cannot make such reckless statements in public.
Yeah, and then there was also something which, was very much put front and center by Advocate Khan, saying that there'd been massive dumping of new and completely unmanageable amounts of evidence and documentation dumped on them on the over the weekend in advance of his appearance. And the evidence leader, Adila Hassim, pushed back very strongly on that as well, as I heard.
I'm sorry, Dr. John, the line is not great. I really struggled to hear you there.
Okay, so the other thing discussed was the contention in that Newsroom Africa interview by Advocate Khan that the Commission we've lost our line there to Khomotso Modise, so it's something we'll have to pick up at a later stage. All I'll say in summary was the contention from Advocate Khan that a whole lot of new and fresh and entirely unwieldy amounts of information being dumped on them was disputed by evidence leader Adila Hassim. But we'll pick up on that story because it's bound to come up again. 24 minutes past 3.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Right, let's go down to KZN now. Obviously, the anti-illegal immigration marches, very, very prominent in Durban. This, to some degree, has been, I don't know if I can call it the epicenter of this campaign. Let me just call it that and leave it at that. But Thabiso Gorba was there yesterday. He's there again today. And Thabiso, very good afternoon to you. I believe you were visiting a couple of communities where there was some kind of conflict yesterday. Where did you go? What did you see and hear? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, John. Well, I do have to start here, John, that the looting, we know that these June 30 demonstrations, there was always this worry, especially here in KZN, especially with what we experienced in the July 2021 unrest, that there might be people who hijack these demonstrations for their own criminal and nefarious ends. And unfortunately, that is what happened, because the looting, John, it's essentially started yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it also continued. There was a bit of a pause during when the marches were happening, so the marches were relatively peaceful. However, after the marches were finished, and this is when the police sort of pulled back in some of these communities, that's when the looting happened. So we started our day, John, at Clement. This is west of Durban. It's about 6 foreign-owned shops were looted. One of these shops was a very, very large supermarket. It's owned by Somalian nationals. They've been in the community for about 11 years. They were a bit taken aback that their shops were targeted, but the looting, John, taking place at just after midnight. As you said, this was almost something similar to the July 2021 unrest. I was reporting here in Durban during that time, and what we saw was that the looters would wait for the police. They'd wait until midnight, for police to decrease their deployment in some hotspot areas, and then they would pounce. We've visited at least 3 or 4 communities, John, where there has been looting. We've spoken about Clement. There was also looting in Umlazi. There was also looting in Hammersdale. 5 people were arrested there by police. And there was also looting in Marin Ridge, where there was about 8 foreign-owned spaza shops that were looted. Again, John, the same modus operandi happening there. The looting taking place around midnight to between 2 to 3 a.m. I had a very interesting conversation, John, with the CPF people, the people from the Community Policing Forum, both in Marin Ridge and in Clement. So I asked them, I was like, were you guys not prepared that this might happen? And they said that while they were prepared, there was enforcement by police. They were simply overpowered by the people who were doing the looting.
Yeah, and Tabiso, I mean, what sense did you get in those communities? Because there will be people who, from those communities, I'm sure, who joined the march, who feel that the issues that the march was highlighting are issues that they care about as well. And yet, you know, living in their community, as you point out, Somali shop owners in Claremont who've been there for 11 years. I mean, these are communities where I would think relationships are uneasy because there's what's happening now and then there's, you know, relationships that maybe they've had over many, many years. And in many ways, that in a nutshell would be true for other communities as well. I mean, what's your sense, pick any one of the communities that you visited, about how those different groups are going to sort of deal with themselves and each other over the coming 2, 3, 4 months?
Well, I think, John, you know, since we've been here in Durban, we've also done a couple of stories around these transit sites. These are where people who were chased away from their homes, as foreign nationals were chased away from their homes, and they were camping in those sites and now want to voluntarily be deported back to their home countries. And what we've seen, even with the people, as we mentioned, the Somalians who've been in Clement for over 11 years, who are parts of that community, what we've seen is a bit of shock from the side of the foreign nationals. You know, a lot of these people have been ingrained to the communities that they've been living in. They've been living relatively peacefully, side by side, for close to over a decade, some more than that. And then now for their neighbors and for their communities to then turn against them, whether it's by chasing them out of their homes or by looting the shops that they're in, has come as a bit of a shock. You know, I just came back now from a transit site, John, in the Durban Central, where there was a number of foreign nationals who fled their homes, who are now stranded in Durban. And they're saying that, you know, they were here, John, during the 2018 xenophobic violence in KZN, and saying that what is happening now is much, much more sinister. So that relationship, John, between the foreign nationals and the local communities seems to have strained. And unfortunately, for a lot of people who are now stranded, who have fled their homes, they can't see themselves coming back to their community because they don't see that relationship can ever be mended again.
Tabiso Goba out in KZN, visiting various communities, Claremont, Marion Hill, I think he said Hammersdale and Umlazi. Wherever you are, if you want to reflect on the day after June 30, your current thoughts about what happens next, and maybe a thought on the community where you live or the place where you work. Do call us with that on 072 702 702 and 011 883 0702. It's 3:30. Cabinet reshuffle announced today. Mbali Dlamini has that story and some others too. Good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. 13 years since being dismissed as a minister following corruption allegations against her, Dimna Pule is making a return today, this time as Social Development Minister. She will be replacing Sisisi Tolashe, who was fired by the president in May this year, following a series of dodgy appointments in her ministry and the alleged diversion of a donation of vehicles meant for the ANC Women's League to their children. After a decade-long absence from Parliament, Pule returned after the 2024 elections to serve as the Portfolio Committee Chair for Agriculture. Lindsay Dentlinger has more.
In July 2013, Dina Pule was axed as Communications Minister in one of President Jacob Zuma's many cabinet reshuffles. It had followed months of allegations that her then partner had benefited from contracts in her department. These allegations were investigated by both the Public Protector and Parliament's Ethics Committee. While the Public Protector did not find that Pule had stolen any money, it did find her guilty of improper and unethical conduct. Parliament's Ethics Committee found similarly, and she was sanctioned with a fine and a suspension from parliamentary duties. Among those questioning Pule's return to Cabinet is the Activists and Citizens Forum spokesperson and former COPE MP, Dennis Bloem.
What message is President Cyril Ramaphosa sending out to the country and the world?
The DA has also expressed its distaste at the appointment, saying a crucial portfolio such as social development demands a minister of impeccable credentials. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
City Power in Johannesburg says the newly implemented tariff increase will ensure infrastructure upgrades go ahead. The power utility has implemented new tariffs from today after approval by NERSA. The utility says the average increase for the 2026-2027 financial year is 8.63%, lower than Eskom's hike and amongst the lowest for South Africa's major metros. Spokesperson Isaac Mangina says the adjustment will fund critical upgrades while limiting the impact on consumers.
Registered indigent customers continue to receive support through tariff interventions, including exemptions from certain fixed charges and also access to free basic electricity program.
It's business as usual in Kukombo City in the Eastern Cape following a march against undocumented migrants yesterday. A relatively small group of protesters marched through the city's CBD before gathering outside City Hall yesterday. Despite weeks of concerns and fears of possible unrest, the demonstration passed off with little disruption. The Eastern Cape government has praised law enforcement agencies for ensuring the march remained peaceful and incident-free. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
While the security situation remains stable, law enforcement officers deployed during several marches across the province will remain on high alert to monitor any developments. Provincial government spokesperson Kuselo Aranti says security agencies are ready to respond to any incidents that could threaten public safety or disrupt public order.
While the provincial government acknowledges the concerns raised by communities regarding undocumented immigrants, it reiterates that the enforcement of immigration laws remains the responsibility of the relevant state authorities.
Meanwhile, anti-illegal immigration activists in Kukombo say yesterday's march marks the beginning of a broader campaign. They have vowed to continue demonstrating until the government takes stronger action against undocumented foreign nationals. Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News, Kukombo.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Lows of between 9 and 12 degrees and highs of between 13 and 18.
Rivonia roadworks causing more than a 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road from Rivonia Junction all the way to Witkopp and Eldorado Park. Also roadworks causing some delays on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. And in Mamelodi, traffic sluggish on Zamaya Avenue approaching Wetlu Road.
The top story in EWN, 13 years since being dismissed as minister following corruption allegations against her, Dina Pule is making a return today, this time as Social Development Minister.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
In many ways, the march was not just about immigrants. The march was also a march in terms of our government saying that we are fed up with you. Because we've become a bureaucratic state and not a caring government with a plan and a vision to lift our people out of their impoverished lives. And this is what this is showing each time. So you have a press conference at the end of the marches and you say, oh, well, we did well. But it's not done.
Donovan Williams, international relations analyst.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
They said you didn't belong. You backed yourself anyway, and you did it on tools that were never built for you. Yoko changed that once, giving you access to payments when others turned you away, and today they're going further. The tools that used to belong only to big business at a price built for small business. AI that understands your business and tells you what to do next. Loyalty that keeps your customers coming back automatically. One platform built for your reality. Stop just running your business and get back to the reason you started it. Yoko, let's grow.
Sporting Bet's Millionaires Cup is live, and your shot at up to 10 million rand is on the line. A pass, a tackle, a strike. Moments make the game. This one could make you. Take on a series of thrilling missions and climb your way to millionaire status with every stage of the tournament. Bet now at sportingbet.co.za. Could you be our next millionaire? Sporting Bet. Betting amplified. T's and C's apply. Sporting Bet is licensed by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No under 18s may gamble. WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710 or contact the SARGF toll-free counseling line on 0800 006 008. Winners know when to stop.
FNB Private has just been named South Africa's best private bank at the prestigious Euromoney Global Private Banking Awards for 2026. And to unpack what that means, 702 is in conversation with FNB Private. We're doing a three-part series exploring the ideas, values and strategies behind one of banking's highest honors. Each week, I'll go deeper into the award itself, sustainability and investment, with the experts driving FNB Private's vision forward. Catch 702 in conversation with FNB Private every Thursday on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. FNB Private, your long-term wealth partner.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. This is Monica from Apetla. Ramaphosa can read the mood of the country. Ne? Dinapule, a lady with a red soul heel who gave a baby boyfriend, tomboy, 6 million. Your country. So it means what? The step aside, red card, it's has expired. No joke.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will be asking questions about that appointment. I must admit my eyebrows headed northwards when I saw that. Very, very surprising. And I think the question being asked there about, irrespective of, moral and ethical questions. I mean, just strategically, the question asked was, is the president correctly reading the national mood? Monica asking the question. I think I know what I would say, but what's your answer? 072 702 1702 and 011 883 0702. It's 21 minutes to 4.
EWN Sport.
One of the things about the World Cup is obviously the competition and the team effort, but for individual players, it really is, Anthony Teixeira, an opportunity to be in the brightest, best lit shop window in the football world, and you have some news in that regard.
Yeah, that's right. Good afternoon, John. Relebohile Mofokeng is Belgium bound. Orlando Pirates confirming an agreement has been reached with Royal Union Saint-Gaulois over the transfer of the youngster. It had been concluded before the World Cup started. However, the Soweto side saying that they didn't make the announcement earlier to allow the playmaker to remain solely focused on Bafana. All that's needed for Mofokeng is for him to undergo a medical and finalizing personal details. Reports are he's on his way to Europe alone, while the remainder of the Bafana squad will be returning back from the FIFA World Cup Thursday morning. In results, the Norwegians beat Ivory Coast 2-1 in the round of 32. Norway coach Ståle Solbakken believes that Erling Haaland is the best goal scorer at the tournament after his late winner.
I think it's the greatest goal scorer in the world. I think there's no doubt about that. To score 5 goals in the World Cup in 3 games for a little country like Norway. I don't think even he had thought that he could do that before. So all the credit to him, and I would never swap him for anyone because he's the greatest goal scorer in the world football today.
Well, Kylian Mbappe may have claimed to that tag as well. He scored twice in France's 3-0 win over Sweden, making him the record goal scorer in World Cup knockouts with 10 goals, while Mexico continued their dominant performances, this time a 2-0 win over Ecuador. In tennis, we've seen Tommy Paul, Herbert Hurkacz, Flavio Cobolli, Naomi Osaka, Yelena Ostapenko all pick up second-round wins at Wimbledon throughout the course of the day. Women's world number 1 Arina Sabalenka a set to the good against American McCartney Kessler, and right now they are locked in battle in the tiebreak for the second set with it 5-5. Well, we've also seen men's world number 1 Yannick Sinner pick up the first set tiebreak against Nuno Burgos and is currently 3-1 down in that second set. In cricket, the Proteas Women T20 World Cup semi-finals just gotten a little harder. The Englishwomen will have Nat Skiver-Brunt available following a recovery from a muscle calf injury in the group stage. She missed 3 of those matches in that undefeated group stage after getting injured in their second outing against Ireland.
Put through my recovery paces, worked really hard to get myself to this position, and the sports science and medicine team have too. So, really, really happy to be sat here.
The two meets in the second semi is Thursday at the Oval, Australia awaiting the winner in the final. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
Okay, the first traffic, I was going to say traffic jam. It may not happen, it may never happen, but the first traffic navigation challenge of the brand new year. The afternoon. Some of you, of course, have already dealt with it in the morning. Okay, Karabo Charlie, just tell us what's happening instead of me trying to predict what might happen.
Well, at this stage, John, not looking too good. If you are leaving Sandton heading towards Rivonia, we have those roadworks in the Sunning Hill area causing 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road from Rivonia Junction all the way to Witkoppen Road. Straight on Park, also bumper traffic on Malibongo Drive, approaching CR Swart Drive due to faulty traffic lights, Eldorado Park. Roadwork still slowing down traffic N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. And in Mamelodi, there's slow-moving traffic on Tamaya Avenue approaching Watloo Road. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
So I asked you at the beginning of the show, this is the first day of the second half of the year. How do you look back on the first 6 months? But more crucially and more interestingly, I think, is what are your plans for the second half? Pumeza says, growing my business, it has not been easy. I've been rejected here and there. I mean, when they get back to is ejected right, but I am still pushing. We wish you well. Really, really wish you well on the tasks you've set yourself and the 6 months ahead. Kwanda says, finish the building I started and move in. That's admirable and something to look forward to. Slindo Gushle says, I passed my doctoral degree in the first half. Now that's an achievement and a half. Now I'm working on being debt-free. And Tabang is pretty sober about all of this and says to get to the first part of next year. Lots of people are just talking about meeting the basics, and Lerato sums that up in just 1 year and says survival. Anthony Teixeira, any particular goals you've set or things you might just be looking forward to? This doesn't all have to be about big projects and self-improvement. Maybe there's just something cool coming down the pipeline.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I really want to do before the end of the year is finish a series called Supernatural. It's about two brothers that just go ghost hunt. Please, get up. This is genuine. This is serious. It's two brothers that like go ghost hunting. It's 15 seasons.
Oh.
And yeah, exactly. I've sort of been going at it for like 18 months. And just finding time to try and finish it out it's been a problem, if I'm being totally honest. And I have like a season and a half to go. And I figure I can do that in 6 months. Yeah. At least that's the goal for 2026. Yes. Is just finish the series so I can just feel like I've completed something in 2026. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, the couch awaits.
Yeah. What, 36 episodes? I'm almost there.
Yeah.
It's a task, and you're well on your way to completing it. I am looking forward, as I always say, to be in the bush, sometime in mid-August. That is shining like a bright light on the horizon for me. But let's have your stories, please, on 011 883 0702 072 702 1702. It's 14 minutes to 4.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
Good afternoon, Dr. John. It's Bongile here in Western area. With Ramaphosa, what comes into my mind now, I have this question that says, does he care about the country? Okay, maybe that one I can answer myself. He doesn't care about the country. Now, the question that I cannot answer is, does he even care about ANC? You see, does he even care about ANC? I really doubt that he cares about even ANC. So, I mean, really, how do you appoint a person who have a reputation, a very bad one, then you bring her back quickly? Just bring her back. I mean, you don't communicate, you don't say anything about her being cleared. Yeah, I wonder, does he care about ANC? He doesn't care about the country, but I wonder, does he care about ANC?
Afternoon, Malume John and team. All I can say is that the ANC must just continue giving South Africans more and more reasons not to vote for them. They must just continue. After the findings in Madlanga, the current conduct, this issue of immigration, I mean, they're just giving the citizens more and more reasons to remove them from power. So, well done.
Yeah, I have to say it's a puzzling decision for me because, there are lots, I would have thought, if the ANC is as good as it's worth, they've got lots of talented people, lots of people committed to uplifting the country. I mean, if you're in the ANC and you know something about its inner workings, maybe you're an organizer, maybe you're a branch member and you've been for a while, help me understand the Dina Pule appointment, because this is a ministry where there have been so many problems before. There were issues with Batabile Dlamini. There were issues with the last person who was there, Sisisi Tolashe. And now you bring in somebody who has this checkered past, and these are not just newspaper reports. There were investigations, there were findings, and there were action taken. Now, I'm not saying somebody should be punished in perpetuity. I'm not suggesting that at all. I don't believe that of people who actually go to jail, never mind just being sort of drummed out of parliament and spaces like that. But surely you're putting forward your best, your brightest for something like social development that touches in profound ways the lives of so many South Africans. So, I mean, obviously the president and the party must do what they wish, but if someone can explain the logic to me, I'd be delighted. 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. It's 11 minutes to 4.
Drive Home with John Perlman
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
So here's something that really struck me as important, but something that I have to say I don't fully understand. This is the news that with the latest jobs figures coming out, there's been a substantial loss of employment in the non-formal agricultural sector. So firstly, an opportunity to understand a little better what that sector is all about, who's there and what kind of work they're doing, what scale do they farm on, and how many people actually work at each agricultural site. But secondly, why is this happening and what might be the implications? To talk about this, we're joined by Johan Kotze, who's CEO at Agri SA. Johan Kotze, welcome and thanks very much for your time. The non-formal agricultural sector, are we talking about small holdings here? What exactly does it involve? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I think that it's a I would say a definition that's not well definitioned and also not well supported by data regarding the people being in that industry. So if we take formal, what formal means is it's people that utilizes the formal marketing system, like going to an abattoir, slaughter at an abattoir, and then it's bought by retailers and eventually processors and then retailers and into the market. You talk about people being subsistent, which is a massive market, people are in that market where they produce enough for themselves, but then they also produce more than what they can utilize, and they sell that off. But they won't go and sell it through a normal structure,
Right.
which doesn't make them inferior and also not their produce inferior. But it's then an unknown, to a certain extent, an undocumented market.
So the jobs in the formal, the job losses in that sector, I mean, why would they be so severe at this time? I mean, any idea what's happening? Because presumably for many people, this is their way of dealing with the kind of unemployment levels that we have in our country, which would suggest this is quite worrying.
Yeah, I think, John, if you have a look at that market segment itself, it's not a market segment where you can pay a massive amount of money into people helping them with what they do.
Right.
So you would typically get somebody to be there for a week or half a week or maybe 2 weeks during harvest. And that market is the first market when something goes south, than what we had yesterday, and when you had economic pressure where they say, listen, I can't utilize it. Because their margins are different. It's smaller than what you have in the commercial market. It's less structured. There's much more risk than what you have in the commercial sector, because there's no guarantee of offtake. There's no support structure in the sense of how to mitigate risk financially. So hard hit by any, I would say, small change in the economy, and a small change specifically like what we saw yesterday, and a massive impact then in this industry.
So in terms of their contribution to food security in our country, if that's a sector taking strain, where's the impact felt on food security, either in terms of output or price?
Rural. Mm-hmm. John, it's a massive impact. Firstly, we need to recognize and say they do contribute to food security. We have this fallacy in our minds to say that food security is a big commercial farmer doing 10,000 hectares and he supplies the market and we food and we're okay. It's not. The people being in the rural areas that are just more than self-sufficient and selling off to their neighbors or bartering with their neighbors, their contribution to food security is humongous. One of the issues we deal with food security is access.
Yes.
And they are farming in the most remote rural areas, and they're supporting that area with their produce. So it's not just the quantity of food, but it's also the availability. And the other thing, it's then the cost of food. Remember, and we also have this idea, because they are not in the formal structures and in the formal sector, that there's something wrong with their produce. But you need to understand the people they're selling to might not be able to afford to pay 110 or 120 rand a kilo,
yes,
but 80 rand a kilo. So then you don't go to an abattoir, you pole slaughter, because then you save 260 rand, say, a carcass. You don't go through a specific system because you save another bit by, say, not being through a checking system. But it doesn't make that produce, I would say, lesser than what we have in commercial.
Right.
But I think the main thing, John, they contribute a huge part to food security in South Africa. And where we lack food security is access in the rural areas, and that's where they play. That's the feeder of where we need the food in South Africa.
So, Mr. Courts, I mean, everything you're saying is painting a really vivid picture of a crucial sector, both its contribution to the logistics of getting good quality and nutritious food. I think we should stress that as well to people who are perhaps a long way away from supermarkets or certainly can't access them with any great ease. Given the crucial sense you're giving us of how crucial this sector is, what should we be doing, either through government, through the private sector, to actually strengthen the hand and increase the sustainability of this part of our agricultural community?
It's impossible to develop the agricultural sector in a way that we do not understand you're going to put grant funding into it, because you need to start to manage that risk.
Yes.
So that's always going to be there. And I think it's not a sin. It's a risk mitigator. But my biggest issue is we never, ever took data out of that industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't avatar that industry in my mind digitally.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't see it. And because we can't do that, we can't help them mitigate their risk. We do not understand the impact into our industry and into South Africa specifically, and then the social economic stability it brings in the rural area. So I think one thing, there's many things that we need to do, but there's one thing, John, that I'm adamant about is we need to understand that industry better.
Yes.
And you only can understand them better if you have data, the factual data of how this industry works, so that you can then penetrate with new ideas, new concepts of mitigating the risk. I think it's scary if we're going to see their contribution to food security in South Africa. And you're going to say to yourself, wow, why didn't we invest in a different way into this industry? And I think I'm not criticizing why it's not invested into that industry. And I think the reason for that is because it's the unknown. And the way to break this is to gather data. And to put that data together and put a picture down of how this industry actually looks like.
Yeah.
To have a better contribution, I would say, into their risk management systems.
Thanks so much. Really interesting stuff from Johan Kotze, who's CEO of Agri SA. So one way to, of course, get a better sense of all of this is to gather data. And I don't know if there are research programs out there that are already doing just that. But anyone listening whose family is involved in this small-scale, non-formal agriculture, Johan Kotze absolutely adamant about its crucial contribution to food security in South Africa, not to mention mitigating the pressures of our rough economy and the high unemployment levels. But if you're in that space, or maybe you've got a family member who is doing exactly the kind of work that Johan was describing there, please do give us a call. Tell us your story, or tell us the story of someone you know that would illuminate some of the points that he was making even further. 702 Drive, 3 minutes now to 4 o'clock.
What is special about this year's 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is that it's happening in the heartbeat of Mzansi, the city of Johannesburg, which carries so much culture and heritage. You should be part of this year's Walk the Talk because one, we're going to hang around together and have fun, but two, I think this is an opportunity for us to reclaim the city, which used to be a melting pot of cultures and languages. I mean, the CBD is still a bustling hub of commerce, of culture, of innovation. And yes, we've noticed the decline of the city over the years, but there are many people who've worked hard to get the city going. And this Walk the Talk is an opportunity for us to show our commitment to this beautiful city of ours. This year, I'm doing the 8-kilometer walk. I like that it goes through Ellis Park and Maboneng and other significant parts of the city. So I want to see as much of the city as possible. To enter the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. See you on the road.
As a business owner, you're always looking for ways to save money, but have you looked at saving on your business insurance premium? With Outsurance Business Insurance, you could save big, like Bosmansdam High School, which saves 3,705 Rand a month. How much could you save? Make the smart business move. Switch and save with Outsurance Business Insurance for educational institutes, law firms, real estate agencies, computer services, and all other businesses. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Parac, Adconapamol, Dilinct Junior, and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
It's your last chance to enter. Nedbank Business Ignite on 702 is closing entries soon. This year, we're celebrating entrepreneurs who've turned personal challenges into businesses that make a real difference. Catch 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa every morning to meet the finalists and hear their inspiring stories. Go to igniteyourbusiness.co.za or primemediaplus.com to enter. You could win 200,000 Rand and the recognition your business deserves. T's and C's apply. See money differently. Nedbank, an authorized FSP and registered credit provider.
This is EWN.
Around 30,000 undocumented migrants repatriated from KZN, and ICC concerned about withdrawals of 3 countries. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Dlamini. Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says around 30,000 undocumented migrants have been successfully repatriated from KZN alone. Thousands of undocumented migrants have chosen to return to their home countries following yesterday's nationwide anti-illegal immigration protests. Many remain camped in Musina, where they are waiting processing by Home Affairs and the issuing of the necessary documents to enable them to cross the Beitbridge border. Speaking at the port of entry today, Schreiber says many more foreign nationals are still in the process of being repatriated.
But what I can say is that in terms of the repatriation process overall, there were over 30,000 individuals out of eThekwini alone that we've repatriated. The latest number of buses from the government side that we've processed is 525 buses. So indeed we're looking at tens of thousands of individuals that's already been successfully repatriated. It's a massive operation. It's truly unprecedented.
Police have confirmed they responded to 120 anti-illegal migration marches across the country just yesterday, with majority of them being peaceful. Acting National Police Commissioner Puleng Dimpane says while there were incidents of unrest, law enforcement agencies acted swiftly. Dimpane was addressing media alongside the South African National Defence Force following yesterday's mass demonstrations.
As of this morning, we confirm that a total of 120 marches took place nationwide. Of these marches, 108 of them were peaceful and only 12 required law enforcement interventions due to incidents of unrest.
She adds that no incidents of violence were reported in the Free State, Limpopo and the Northwest, while the other provinces fewer than 5 incidents were recorded each.
While the vast majority of demonstrations remained peaceful, there were individuals who sought to exploit yesterday's events to commit criminal acts. Unfortunately for them, they were promised that the law will take its course. They are quickly discovered. The law enforcement was on their heels and ready to act proportionally and decisively.
Meanwhile, the Cape Chamber of Commerce says the nationwide anti-illegal immigration protests had little impact in Cape Town. Demonstrations were held across the country in a campaign to prompt government to improve immigration management. Authorities in the Cape confirmed isolated incidents of violence, theft and malicious damage to property linked to the protests yesterday. 13 people were arrested. Quinton Mjala has more.
Chamber of Commerce's safety head Hubert Bolser says fear of looters and chaos that many businesses anticipated in the build-up to the June 30th protest did not materialize.
However, there was still a noticeable impact. Many small businesses took a cautious approach, with some choosing to close for the day or reduce trading hours because of the uncertainty. This uncertainty alone had a significant economic impact, particularly on small businesses that rely on daily trade.
He says yesterday's protest highlighted the importance of collaboration between law enforcement, private security, business and communities. Quinton Mjala, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
While the EFF has slammed an MK Party MP who claims Julius Malema was instrumental in preventing crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan from appearing before Parliament's ad hoc committee. MK Party MP Vusi Shongwe told the Madlanga Commission yesterday that during the ad hoc committee's hearings, Malema was the most vocal in his opposition to Khan appearing as a witness. But the EFF says this is not true and has requested the ad hoc committee investigating police corruption write to the Madlanga Commission to clarify. Babalondenze reports.
The ad hoc committee resumed its deliberations on its final report before it's adopted and submitted to the Speaker. But committee alternate member Vusi Shongwe's appearance before the Madlanga Commission yesterday dominated initial discussions. EFF MP Leanne Matthys submitted that Shongwe was wrong to single out Julius Malema in the decision to not call crime intelligence boss Feroz Khan as a witness.
to the commission or is given testimony under oath that a decision to not bring a particular witness here, in particular Major General Khan, to the committee was based on Honorable Malema, the EFF in particular, one member.
Matei says the committee has 11 members that have a vote, and this must be corrected.
And it might have to be that we even have to write to the commission and clarify.
Members of the committee say Khan was not invited because the initial evidence before the committee had vindicated him. Baba Londenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And at The Hague, the executive body of the International Criminal Court has voiced concern over the recent withdrawals of 3 countries. Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger recently withdrew from the ICC following an announcement last year. They described it as an instrument of neo-colonialist repression in the hands of imperialism. The ICC says this is concerning as countries leaving the body risk undermining the collective pursuit of justice. A total of 125 countries are currently members of the ICC, but several major powers including China, India, Israel, Russia and the United States have not joined it. Gold is trading at $4,091.06 an ounce. The rand is at 16.37 to the dollar, 21.73 to the pound, 18.68 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.95 a barrel.
Rivonia roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road. This is from Rivonia Junction all the way to Witkoppen. While in Straighton Park, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Malibongo Drive between CR Swart and this is approaching CR Swart due to faulty traffic lights. Edenville expects some delays. R24 westbound from Edenville Road to the Gilulis interchange.
And in your sport, Relebohile Mofokeng Europe bound after Orlando Pirates confirm his departure to Belgian Giants. Bafana Bafana are making the way back to South Africa following the exit from the FIFA World Cup. And we'll have some results from Wimbledon.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg drops to overnight lows of 9 degrees, peaking at 15. Pretoria 9 and 18, and Vereeniging 12 and 13 degrees. The top story in EWN. Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says around 30,000 undocumented migrants have been successfully repatriated from KZN alone.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
on 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 4. Welcome to the show. If you've just joined us, if you've been with us for a while, well, it's been great having you. Coming up on the show over the next little while, next hour or so, a big story today and potentially a huge story tomorrow. Today's big story, decision in the court in the Pretoria Specialized Crimes Court in regard to the businessman Vusimuzi Matlala. You may recall there was a plea bargain struck between him and his lawyers on the one hand, the NPA and IDAC on the other. That would have seen him serve 8 years in jail. Now, this had to be approved. I don't know if I'm using the right legal terminology by the magistrate in the court where this was being heard, Magistrate Ignatius Duprier, and he said, nope, not harsh enough. I think 12 years time served is more appropriate. So they go away to debate and discuss and negotiate, and they're back in court on the 13th of July. What are the options and, crucially, what are the issues at stake? We'll talk about that with legal analyst Ntabi Singh Dubazana joining us from Dubazana Attorneys. That's in 3 or 4 minutes' time. The big story tomorrow, a huge story we hope, of course, is tomorrow evening in the UK, the second semi-final of the Women's World Cup T20. Danae van Niekerk is a key member of the team that will be taking on the hosts England, looking to earn a place to play Australia in the final at Lord's on Sunday. She's my guest at 5 o'clock. A couple of you are commenting on the appointment of Dina Pule back into the cabinet after she had been in something of the political wilderness for the past 13 years. Many of you with strong views given the circumstances and the cloud under which she departed and got pushed out of politics. That was in the Zuma years. Some of you have got views on that. And we asked you the question as well, what is that thing you're looking forward to doing in the second half of the year, which has just begun? Peter says, finishing my first 42K marathon. Wish you well with that. Clayton, just dealing with the basics, and says, staying alive. And I don't think he's doing the Bee Gees version of that. I think it's something a lot more gritty than that. Michael says, keep hydrated, focus, read more, sleep well, and exercise, among other things. All sound like good goals there, Michael, particularly if you're doing the exercise. You definitely are going to need the hydration. 702 Drive, what else have people got to say?
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hey, Ndate John O'Brien for Sloras. Ndate John, the logic behind Ramaphosa's Dinapula appointment, it's simple because of there's no one else. We are all having those little skeletons in our closets. So that's why they say the ANC has dried out of leaders. Whoever is left there, they don't have leaders anymore. So you have to pick amongst those group of those crooks. And my favorite reggae song, I Am That I Am, by Peter Tosh. I am the son of David, I'm the son of Moses. Thank you, Ndate John.
Yeah, today, International Reggae Day, just to the point made at the end of that voice note from Aubrey. It's International Reggae Day. Your favorite reggae song, please send it to 072 702 1702. 12 minutes past 4.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Rivonia Road's got some roadworks, Karabochali, and as the day unfolds and the roadworks continue, you seem to be saying that it's going to be slow there.
Yeah, no, definitely slow. So if you are leaving Rivonia heading towards Sunning Hill, you can expect about a 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road. This is between 12th Avenue and Witkoppen Road. In Straydon Park, also bumper traffic on Malibongo Drive. This is approaching CR Swart due to faulty traffic lights, while in Edenvale, heading towards Bedford View, expect some delays. R24 westbound from Edenvale Road to the Kilulis interchange, while in Pimville, slow-moving traffic on Chris Hani Road between the Soweto UJ campus and Klipspruit Valley Road, while in El Dorado Park, roadworks still causing heavy delays on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. And finally, in Mamelodi, traffic remains sluggish on Zamaya Avenue approaching Watloo. For the latest traffic updates, you can also follow us on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
With the price of fuel going up, everyone needs to drop expenses wherever they can. Switch to Outsurance and you could save big on your car insurance. Like 48-year-old Adam, who saves a jaw-dropping 1,803 Rand a month on his 2020 Audi Q3. No matter what happens in the economy, Outsurance is still committed to dropping prices and saving you money. Get a quote today. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Bongani Bingwa, 702 Breakfast.
Weekday mornings, 6 to 9.
The economist Duma Gubule raised some important points, arguing that even if we could, we cannot and would not have mass expulsions. We are signatories to a number of conventions that simply don't allow it.
Okay, so mass expulsions are not allowed under international law, under South African law. There's no way that the government could break the law to implement deportations.
So ultimately, despite the drama and the spears and the knopkiris and the noise, yesterday's demonstrations are essentially a non-starter.
No, it's actually a mass hallucination of South Africans. Let us remember, Bongani, that the biggest driver of international migration in Southern Africa since the start of the century was collapse of the Zimbabwean economy after the land reform process. And then you're going to repeat something like that, 9% of GDP, which is way more than what Zimbabwean agricultural production was at the turn of the century. It would cause a humanitarian crisis in the region.
Bongani Bingwa, 6 to 9.
On 702.
Renowned worldwide, the Buscade Soweto's string ensemble moves seamlessly from Elgar and Rameau to Afrojazz, Kwela and Amapiano. This year's program promises once again unforgettable performances that uplift and inspire. Experience the magic of the Buscade annual concert at the Linda Auditorium on Sunday 19 July at 3 p.m. Secure your seat now at Quicket.
Cutting costs means more money for your business. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Marshall from Bow Electrical.
I was with my other insurance for many years and then I switched to Outsurance Business Insurance. It was a one quick call. They gave me a great cover and a great price. Give them a call. You have nothing to lose. I wish I have switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
FNB Private has just been named South Africa's best private bank at the prestigious Euromoney Global Private Banking Awards 2026. And to unpack what that means, 702 is in conversation with FNB Private. We're doing a three-part series exploring the ideas, values and strategies that have led to the award of one of banking's highest honors. Each week, I'll go deeper into the award itself, sustainability and investment, with the experts driving FNB Private's vision forward. Catch 702 in conversation with FNB Private every Thursday on 702 Drive with me, John Perlman. FNB Private, your long-term wealth partner.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, a very, very interesting day, certainly to my mind, in the Specialised Commercial Crime Court in Pretoria. This is where Magistrate Ignatius du Preez gave his response to a deal that had been agreed. Serve 8 years imprisonment, give us important information and evidence in regard to other people involved in a crime, and you will serve 8 years. That was the deal that had been struck between the NPA, I think IDAC was also involved on the one hand, and the businessman Vusimuzi Katmatlala and his legal counsel on the other. Well, Magistrate du Preez did not agree, felt that the sentence was insufficient, and came up with his own verdict. I don't know if verdict is the correct word to use. We'll find out what the correct word is in a moment from our guest who I'm about to but he brought into the mix, no, in fact, he ought to serve 12 years, and he gave reasons for this. And Thabiseng Dubazana is director of Dubazana Attorneys. Welcome, Ms. Dubazana, to 702 Drive once again. Certainly today was dramatic, but can I assume it's not unusual that plea bargains are put before judges and magistrates, and then they come back with what they think is fit and just?
Good afternoon, John. You're definitely right. It happens more often than not, because what would happen in the beginning would be that as the plea bargaining statement is being jotted down, we would present it before a magistrate or a judge, excluding the sentence, of course, just to show them what it is that we're busy with and what we've decided on, and if they are in agreement with the parameters of the law, and then if they want us to fix something, we fix it. But when it comes to the sentence, it's usually between the two parties, i.e. the NPA and the defense, and then it is still up to the presiding officer to confirm or deny the sentencing agreement because the sentence is not meeting the harshness or the horribleness, so to speak, of the crime itself.
Yeah, and the Magistrate du Preez made it very, very clear that this is not now the new sentence. There was a period of time where counsel on both sides, I assume the prosecutor for the state and the legal team acting for Mr. Matlala, went away. I think they were gone about 30 or 40 minutes, perhaps a little bit longer. They couldn't reach agreement, so they're back in court on the 13th of July. What do you think might be some of the conversations that are going to ensue now? I mean, presumably, would I be right in saying the NPA can't say, well, we're going to go to the magistrate and try and get you something different? This is now the new deal, is it?
Well, technically, it's a new deal. It's pending in the air. So we'll wait to hear what they say. So the options that are available to them would be A, take the sentence, as it is, and then the deal stays in the manner in which the magistrate has discussed. So the magistrate, over and above making it an effective 12 years, also is saying in the 105A that he must testify in other proceedings, and he must give evidence truthfully and all of that in the way that he structured his thing. But now the question is that what was the agreement between the state and the defense over and above this 105A? What is the 204 agreement where he's going to be a state witness, you see? So if now the perks of having him as a state witness are now outweighed by this current situation, we might be getting to the 13th and then we hear the defense saying, you know what, thanks, but no thanks.
Yes.
Let us try our luck somewhere else.
I found many of the things that Magistrate Dupree had to say very, very interesting, Ms. Dubazana. I mean, one of them, for example, he seemed to reject any suggestion that the state's case was, significantly dependent on what Mr. Matlala might say in evidence. And I'll read a quote. He says, "I do not get the impression that the NPA is in limbo and without evidence against other individuals involved in the fraud, corruption, and money laundering." I mean, how important is that? In other words, his suggestion that, well, actually the deal is not as essential to the further pursuit of justice as you're suggesting.
I think based on what the state was saying on the last sitting, even in the aggravation of sentence, it was more of a mitigation for the defense than anything else.
Right.
And they were emphasizing the fact that without Ntate Matlala, we can't do this. Without his assistance, we can't do this. But they were not, I suppose, playing open cards with the court to saying, this is why we are saying we are stuck, and without him, we can't move forward. They just stated it in the 105A. I think they needed to convince the magistrate that this is why we are conceding, quote unquote, so much in order for us to get to where we need to get. So clearly they didn't convince him enough. And he's saying you have so many things or resources available to you to try and get that information. Why do we have to rely on this one individual?
I'd love to get your view. I don't know how much lawyers express views on these things, but let me at least put the question to you, Ms. Dubazana. I mean, the original deal where Mr. Matlala would serve an effective 8 years. I'm not sure if there was eligibility for parole in that time frame, but 8 years was on the table. I mean, do you think that was a pretty good deal? I mean, if that was your client, would you say grab it with both hands, or do you think, it's a fairly tough sentence, Magistrate Dupree's views notwithstanding?
The original deal was, in my opinion, like a real slap on the wrist. That was a throwaway. It was an amazing deal if it was going to be granted. But with this one that is currently happening, the maximum sentence he was looking for the fraud cases was about 15 to 20 years. And then the other corruption cases, the other two, it was 10 years each. Mm-hmm. So he was already effectively looking at nothing less than 25 years. So with what has happened today, he's not going to be eligible for parole in these 12 years because the other 2 years are going to run consecutively.
Right.
So for me, it is half the sentence.
Yes.
I would say take it. Effectively, you'll be out in 12 years instead of try your luck, going to trial, and then upsetting the presiding officer, and then they give you a harsher sentence, or you plead guilty the normal plea way, not this one, and then in that plea you're still given 20 years. So either way, you're going to be stuck in prison. So look at it and decide whether it's worth your time. I would suggest that he would take it personally.
I want to just reflect finally on a couple more things that the magistrate said. I mean, the one was that he said, I don't think you have any remorse. Your greatest remorse is the fact that you got caught. Your counsel and the prosecutor have been saying you've cooperated. Well, you cooperated, again, in the context that the game was up. But the other thing, and I think this is the most important thing that I'd love your view on, is he made quite a point about how severe the consequences for our country are of corruption. Is that part of judicial officers' thinking, that they don't just look at crimes, but they look at the context of those crimes? Is that something that always happens and something we should indeed expect?
In fact, it is a must that it must be included when a presiding officer hands down their sentence and judgment, because they need to look at the severity of the crime, the interest of justice, which is now what we're talking about, and also the interest of the public or society. So justice must not only be deemed to be done, it should also be seen. So that is very important for them to look at. So the rights of the accused are weighed up in terms of all of these aspects. and then we are allowed to limit the right of the accused, Section 36, based on the interest of justice and the interest of the public, because if we let this person go,
Yes.
the greater public is going to be affected in that they're not going to have faith in the judiciary or in the legal system, and therefore that is not what they're trying to do.
Thank you so much. And Thambi Singh Dubazana, great insights as always. She is director at Dubazana Attorneys. Very, very interesting day in court, I have to say. Not just what happened at the end, but the comments that were made by Magistrate Ignatius Dupré. You can check it out online. There's probably clips appearing on various news platforms, including our own. But yeah, I thought the way his decision was framed was as interesting as the decision itself. Speaking of crime and hopefully some kind of punishment, at 10 to 5, we're going to be looking at a new study that is looking at South Africa's increasing role as a transit and redistribution hub for synthetic drugs. Now, for example, at Madlanga, there's been a huge focus on cocaine, which is, its origin is in a natural plant, the coca plant, coca leaves, I believe, and you'd say the same thing about heroin. But there's another whole area of illegal drugs that are known as synthetic drugs. Fentanyl is one that comes to mind for me, but we'll speak to someone more expert than I am about that. Jason Eli is working at the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, and South Africa's role in the synthetic illegal drug market is becoming a matter of grave concern. More on that coming your way at 10 to 5. It's 27 minutes past 4.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
Stephen Cruz.
EWN Business.
Jumping the gun there. One more and I would be disqualified. Stephen Curtis, how are the markets today? Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you, John. Yeah, they're not great, I'm afraid. You would sort of think that, with the oil prices being slightly lower for a considerable amount of time, they would be moving a little bit. But oil prices still hovering around the $72 a barrel mark. The JSE All Share down 0.1%, 110,199 points. Financials down 1.4%, industrials down 0.5%. Resources up 2%, platinum and gold prices up quite strongly today. South 32 up nearly 12% on the day so far, John, over confirmation overnight that they're selling the Hillside Smelter in Richards Bay, the whole facility there, to the Canadian firm Alcoa. It means Alcoa will own the Bayside property. It's currently idling. The entire deal is worth more than $5.5 billion. 92 billion rand. The deal does not include the Moselle smelter in Mozambique, which is not operating at the moment. Does include South 32 stakes in a big facility in Brazil, in one or two other places as well. Really is a big deal. We'll talk more about this on the Money Show tonight. Optasia is up nearly 4%. Gold Fields is up 3.5%. Harmony is also up 2.39%. They had an update yesterday. And then Implats and some of the other miners are all up by around 2% on the day. Sasol is down nearly 4%. ABSA down 3.7%. Results were disappointing. They had an update yesterday that was disappointing the market, and they lost a little bit yesterday, and I think that's continuing today. Mr. Price down 3.25%, and British American Tobacco down 3% as well. ShopRite also down 2.5% in that space, while AB InBev, usually a defensive stock in these times, down 2.57%. PPC Cement, they've been trying to sell this massive property in Zimbabwe. It's got a very interesting history, but they were going to sell it for $30 million. The deal's fallen through. The buyer didn't make the payment in time. They were going to sell it to a company called Transvaal Africa. Buyer didn't make the payment, so they've been trying to sell non-core assets, and unfortunately that for them has fallen through. In the US, a bit of concern about what's been happening with the US and Iran. So Tehran said it wouldn't meet with American envoys who went there, who went to the region. Other people said no, there had been some technical talks, but obviously no sort of final breakthrough, and that weighing a little bit on some markets. The Dow Jones is up 0.14, the Nasdaq is down 0.41, the S&P 500 is down 0.16. The gold price, $4,093.34 an ounce. Platinum, $1,601.80. Brent crude, $72.10. The rand to the dollar is 16.36. To the euro, 18.65. To the British pound, 21.71. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Thanks, Stephen. Back with us at about 25 minutes past 5. New ministers being sworn in today. Mbali Dlamini has that story, and there's some other stuff as well in this news update. Mbali, good afternoon.
Thanks, John. Good afternoon. Well, former Western Cape Education MEC David Maynier has become one of 2 new ministers to be sworn in at the Union Buildings this afternoon. He will now head up the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment. This comes as the ANC's Dina Pule has also been sworn in as Social Development Minister. Her appointment has attracted much criticism because she was fired as Communications Minister in 2013 following findings of unethical conduct. President Cyril Ramaphosa introduced the new appointments this afternoon.
David John Maynier to be Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, and Diana Deli-Wepule to be Minister of Social Development. I now request Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mhlandla to either swear or affirm them into office.
While the DAs John Steenhuisen, Yusuf Karim and Jack Plume have also been sworn in as the new deputy ministers. DA Chief Whip Glenys Breitenbach says the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee probing allegations of police corruption has no powers to find people guilty. She adds that the months of hearings have provided the committee with just information and not evidence that can be used to pursue those fingered in police interference and corruption. Breitenbach and members of the committee were making their submissions and recommendations on the committee's draft report today. Babalondenze has more.
Members of the ad hoc committee are not all in agreement about what actions should be taken against implicated people. They made several submissions on what should be included in the report and what the recommendations should be. But committee member Glenys Breitenbach is of the view that the committee's powers don't extend to act against anyone.
We cannot find people guilty. We cannot find people innocent. We can find that people have misled us when the objective, glaring facts suggest that.
She says the committee's own report suggests that they are not dealing with evidence in the legal sense.
Because what we heard here was not evidence. It was information. It was not tested. It wasn't cross-examined.
Other committee members also submitted that there's no evidence that suggests that Minister on Special Leave, Senzo Mchunu, is corrupt and he should be treated fairly. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
And in Belarus, the presidency has pardoned 28 political prisoners convicted of extremist crimes. According to a statement, they form part of a total of 32 people who were pardoned ahead of Belarus's Independence Day. The country has released hundreds of political prisoners since last year, in part to secure sanctions relief from the United States. Amongst them are journalists, opposition politicians, as well as activists. The country still counts more than 800 political prisoners in its jails, many of whom were arrested during mass opposition protests against President Alexander Lukashenko's disputed re-election in 2020. While a partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 9 and 12 degrees and highs of between 13 and 18.
Bryanston heading towards Four Ways. There's an accident scene on the N1 southbound before Winnie Mandela Drive, causing huge delays all the way from the Bethlehem interchange. Poles off. Traffic also heavily backed up on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Maxwell Drive. Midrand, there's a stationary truck N1 south before the Bethlehem interchange, causing heavy delays from Allendale.
The top story in EWN, former Western Cape Education MEC David Maynier has become one of 2 ministers to be sworn in at the Union Buildings today.
What's so exciting for me about this year's event is that we're going back to a place I know so well. I just haven't been there for so long. I'm so excited about going to that precinct around the CBD, the life, the people, the history that is there. All of that is what makes me so excited about this year's Walk the Talk. You should take part in this year's Walk the Talk because it's a coming together of the 702 family of a community. If you like that feeling of being part of something, of what watching your children being a part of something bigger than you. That's what the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk is all about. This year I'm going to walk the full 15 Ks. I want to see as much of the inner city of Joburg as I can. I want to walk it in a way I've never walked it before, and that's important for me. To enter 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, go to primemediaplus.com. It's very simple. We'll see you there. I'm looking forward to seeing you there. We're going to have a great time.
The Lotto jackpot could make all your dreams come true, because tonight you have a chance to win over 13.5 million rand in a total Lotto estimated jackpot. That is life-changing money that could be yours instantly. Catch the live draw tonight at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Caesar Kaya.
Ready to go?
No, can't.
Your mother raised you. She can look after him for one day.
But he's just your baby.
He's 7.
Just your baby.
I've packed his favorite toy and blanket.
Okay, just grab his Hills food.
Always.
We know that you only want the best for your small dog, which is why Hills has developed expert, science-backed nutrition to meet the unique needs of small dogs and help them live their best lives across their longer lifespans. Hills Pet Nutrition. Science does more.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Good afternoon, John. I'm Brian here. Yeah, so I'm also in poultry farming. One of the guys that does not do the abattoir processing because of the people that I sell to. They are not able to afford, let's say, 80 rand per kilo for chicken. So for me to make profit, unfortunately, I have to do my things informally. What I wish for is that we, as the informal businesses that are unable to go that route, we get some support from the government, you know.
In 400 meters, turn right.
They made their regulations so strict so that it becomes so expensive for us to even try to take these chickens to an abattoir. Yeah, that's my experience. And yeah, John, it's actually large quantities. I don't know how many thousands of chickens I rotate on a monthly basis.
Turn right.
Hi, good afternoon, John. Yeah, plans for after July. Mine is my last comrade was in 2018, and then I couldn't go. I couldn't qualify for about 2 years. But the aim now is to run comrades next year. They are celebrating 100 years. I just want to be part of that. So I just want to qualify this year and run my first marathon, and then I'm working towards that, and it's gonna happen. Thank you. It's Clement in Mamelodi. Bye.
Yeah. By the way, that 100th anniversary of Comrades, I mean, places are going to be in hot demand. I'm wondering, first of all, how they're going to decide who gets it. Will there be a certain number for people who've run the race a good number of times? Obviously, the elite athletes and medalists will be in, can assume they're in. But then after that, will there be a lottery? Anyone known? Is anyone already starting to make preparations to run that really momentous Comrades next year? Quite an achievement if you can be part of that. 702 Drive, give us a call on that on 011 883 0702 and 072 702 1702. If you're wondering, by the way, because you joined the show perhaps a little later, why Brian was telling us about the poultry business that he's doing is all to keep going. We had a very interesting interview with Johan Kotze about small-scale farmers outside of the kind of agribusiness sector, and the huge pressures they've been under. But what Johan Kotze was really emphasizing is how crucial they are to food security in our country. So I was just asking, and maybe you've got something to share as well, either your own experience or the experience of someone you know. What is it like trying to run those smaller agricultural enterprises? Give us a ring on that if you like on 072 702 1702. It's 21 minutes to 5.
EWN Sport.
And it's time to talk about the World Cup, and boy, oh boy, what a performance by France.
The EWN World Cup Desk. The latest scores, the biggest stories, and the moments everyone's talking about.
Yeah, that's right, John. We do start with the wrap of some of the results from overnight, with Kylian Mbappe scoring a brace as France saw off Sweden 3-0 in the round of 32. That results meaning that the French are now top of the FIFA World Rankings and have set up a last 16 showdown with Paraguay. Norway withstood Cote d'Ivoire's pressure to claim a 2-1 victory late on. Captain Martin Odegaard celebrated the match winner Erling Haaland, but said that the celebrations would be short as they now turn their attention to Brazil in the next round.
Erling, of course, scoring goals every single time he plays almost. What we're going to think about now is to enjoy the win today. Be really happy and proud of ourselves. Amazing achievement to go through to the next round. First time for us in the World Cup in a long time, and to go through to another round now is unbelievable. So let's enjoy the day, let's enjoy the moment, and then it's time to prepare for Brazil, which is going to be a tough game.
Drama in Mexico's 2-0 win over Ecuador as Arsenal defender Piero Hincapié became the second player at the finals to receive a straight red for covering his mouth while confronting an opponent. It came in the second half stoppage time when he was speaking to Mexico's Santiago Jimenez, while head coach Sebastian Beccacheche has stepped down following the South American's exit. Celebrations in Mexico City turned deadly as 3 people died from suffocation. More than 1 million people took to the streets around the Angel of Independence monument to celebrate the country's first knockout victory since 1986. The co-hosts will face either England or DR Congo, who meets this evening. English manager Thomas Tuchel says the African side have been well drilled defensively.
No one created chances against them. No one scored a lot of goals against them. Colombia struggled. Portugal struggled. They are just so committed to defending, so proud to defend, so well drilled. Can be a game of patience again.
Well, that's a 6 p.m. kickoff. Then at 10, 2 teams who really haven't gotten going yet, Senegal and Belgium collide. And then overnight, co-host the USA meet Bosnia and Herzegovina. FIFA have defended the decision to rule out what would have been Jonathan Tah's German winner over Paraguay. The sports governing body clarifying that coaches and players were warned before the tournament starts that officials, both the referees and VAR, would punish teams if incidents involved deliberately blocking or interfering with goalkeepers. And Bafana Bafana are set to arrive back in South Africa in the early hours of Thursday morning following their exits at the feet of Canada this past weekend. Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
From kickoff to the final whistle, this is the EWN World Cup Desk.
EWN Traffic.
At 18 minutes to 5, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS the word out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Difficulties out in Bryanston, I believe. Karabo Chali is your man to just guide us on where to go and what to avoid.
Yeah, that's if you're heading towards Fourways. That accident seen in Bryanston, N1 South before Winnie Mandela Drive, causing huge delays all the way from the Bethlehem to change. Pulls off, also traffic heavily backed up. This is on Witkoppen Road between Main Road and Maxwell Drive. While in Midrand, heading towards Sandton, there's a stationary truck, N1 South, before the Bethlehem to change, causing heavy delays all the way from Allendale. Rivonia, heading towards Sunning Hill Roadworks, causing about a 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road from 10th Avenue all the way to Witkoppen. And in Fourways, there's heavy delays. This is on Winnie Mandela Drive between the N1 and Uranium. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
15 minutes watching the World Cup highlights goes by quickly, but 15 minutes stuck in traffic, well, that feels like torture. Fortunately, the Outsurance pointsmen are here to save the day. These heroes in green and purple have been easing traffic congestion for the past 20 years. The Outsurance pointsmen, helping everyone get where they need to be quickly and safely. Just another way you always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag pointsmenlove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I don't know if you've ever been in this position where you say, oh, you know that person I met, or this somebody I've been dating, or that person I work with, or whatever, they've turned out to be awful in some way, shape, or form. And have you ever been the person who say, I have to say there was something about them in the very beginning that I just didn't sit right with me. I just didn't really like them. So here's my question, because this could be a real public service contribution. Are you good at clocking early on that someone is going to turn out to not be great and possibly worse, even, significantly awful? And if so, what are the telltale signs that you could maybe share with other people? Not everybody, picks up these things in exactly the same way. So I'm not suggesting there is a manual, but I bet you there's some very good suggestions. How do you know when you ought to just maybe give someone a slightly wide berth for a while at least? Refuwe Letsua, good judge of character from everything else you've told us. Are you pretty good at those early warning signs, red and orange flags?
Good afternoon, John, and to the rest of the 702 family. I'm quite good at that. But I've had to learn it over the years. So
yes.
It's always that gut feel that says, hey man, something's not right with this person.
Mm-hmm.
So what I do is that I'll listen to that gut feel, but also start looking at some things like patterns of behavior. Let's say you always have an excuse for not doing something.
Yes,
and
yes.
you're just really unreliable. And then I'm like, okay, so my spidey senses are not where they should be. And then I keep trying you. And then people that lie a lot, John, and not remember your lie. That's, I'm not saying they must lie,
yes.
but also kind of remember your lie.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to lie, so you're saying if you're going to lie, at least,
remember your
be
lie.
Reasonably good at it.
Yes.
Okay.
Try.
All right.
But it's always the gut feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. How about you, Anthony, to share the warning signs?
I mean, I have several. The big one is people that can't look at me in my eyes when I'm talking to them. I just, yeah, exactly.
We're
Let's
all
make eye
looking at
contact.
you.
Focus up. Yeah. It's when you're having a conversation with somebody and suddenly you realize they haven't looked at my eyes in a while. They're sort of looking everywhere but where they should be looking. That's usually like raises a red flag. The other one is when you say something funny and instead of laughing, the person goes, that's so funny. And there's no laugh.
Yes, yeah.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
What? Why are you not laughing then?
Sounds psychotic.
Oh, they say, yeah, that's true. That's I mean, that was a laugh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A faint one. I'll watch out for that one, actually. Karabo Chali, what your advice to a public who could really use some help in this regard?
So when a person enters the room or an elevator and finds us there and doesn't greet, or maybe just greets his clique of his friends and totally avoids the rest of the people. And I find that extremely rude. And people who gossip a lot about other people.
Yes.
So that one is also a big red flag, because if you're gossiping about other people, you're probably gossiping about me too.
Are they gossiping or sharing information?
There's a thin line. You have to pick it up.
No, I think there's a very clear line between gossip and sharing information. Let's not muddy the waters on that one. So for me, a real thing, and maybe it is a red flag, is whether it's a one-on-one conversation or whether it's conversation in a larger group. If somebody who loses interest in the conversation the moment they've told everybody everything about themselves, and show no interest in what the other people
have to say,
seated at the table have to say. I think there was a wonderful line from Larry King. I can't remember who was interviewing. It was an actress, might have been Jane Fonda, but anyway, he said, are you dating anyone? And she was saying, well, I haven't really met. And she said, a lot of self-centered men out there. And Larry King said, oh, those people who say, but enough about you. Enough about me. Enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Yeah.
What do you think of me? And that was Larry King's way of summarizing that self-centeredness. So give us your red flags, please. What are the little warning signs that somebody is not going to turn out to be all that great? 11 minutes now to 5.
John is on X.
At John Perlman.
So we've spoken quite a lot in many contexts, actually, given all the stuff coming up at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry about South Africa and our role in drug trafficking. A new study has come out. It's been put together by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime, and their focus is on synthetic drugs. This is a huge and growing problem in virtually every country in the world. And their report finds that South Africa is playing a growing role both as a transit and redistribution hub, and there are indications from police activity that we are becoming quite important in terms of production as well. Let's talk to one of the people then who has been involved in the production of this report. Joining us now from the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime is Jason Eli. Mr. Eli, welcome, and thanks very much for giving us your time. When we talk about synthetic drugs, my mind goes to Mandrax, fentanyl. Is there a much longer list? And if so, which are the most prominent ones?
Well, good afternoon, John. It's a pleasure to be here and speak to you. That's a great question. The UN in the last year identified almost 700 new psychoactive substances. So when we're talking about synthetics, we've got to recognize that we're beyond the traditional agricultural-based drugs of cocaine, which comes from the coca leaf, or heroin, which comes from the sap of the opium poppy. And really, there's really no endpoint for how many new synthetic substances can be developed. We've got a great modern chemistry industry globally that benefits us industrially, but also, of course, has a downside. In terms of the most prominent, I think you mentioned Mandrax already. Methamphetamine, I think, is probably a very common one that South Africans would be familiar with.
Yes.
Ecstasy as well. These have been around being made for quite a while, but there are a lot of brand new substances. You mentioned fentanyl, which is a problem in some places, but there are a wide range of other synthetic opioids, many of which are new to the market and new to users. So it's a great challenge.
What challenges does this pose for law enforcement? And my mind goes to the opportunities for production, because obviously there's no heroin without poppies. And my understanding, for example, of shipments of cocaine tend to be in real bulk, whereas the amount of perhaps drugs that a user or a dealer would actually be in possession of with synthetics could be more easily hidden to escape detection. But give me your thoughts on that. I mean, can these be set up in labs in garages, for example?
Oh, exactly. The limitation of agricultural-based drugs is that production tends to be geographically limited. So cocaine tends to come from Latin America, obviously, which is where the coca plant grows. Heroin tends to come either from the Afghan region or further east in Myanmar. So we have an idea geographically of where these things are being produced and where they originate. The downside of synthetics from an enforcement point of view is that they can be produced anywhere with any number of hundreds of chemicals. So if we're looking at the South African perspective, obviously, if you're law enforcement, not only do you have to look at your borders in order to try and identify cocaine or heroin shipments coming in from abroad, but also internally, the ability to produce in a garage, in a shed, in a farmstead somewhere is enormously high, and the amount needed for synthetic producers to make a profit is far less than the amount you would need of cocaine and heroin.
So what's happening in South Africa? Are we a transit point? Are we becoming a place of manufacture and production? And obviously there would be, I would think, significant risks and dangers for anyone who becomes addicted.
Well, I think from the perspective of the global illicit market for drugs in South Africa, you're I guess a victim of your own success in a way. You've got wonderful port facilities, very modernized, connected into the global maritime trade routes. You've got a great central air hub in Joburg. You've got highways that are well maintained and connected. So from a logistics point of view, South Africa, in between the origin points for cocaine in Latin America and heroin in South Asia, is well positioned as a point of transit for most of the global markets, which includes trade down to Australia, which is probably the most lucrative market for things like methamphetamine.
In terms then of law enforcement strategies to try and deal with it, I mean, it does sound a little bit of a moving target. You get your hand onto, get a handle on one particular drug, and then, from what you're suggesting, given the nature of production, there could be 3-4 derivatives or brand new drugs on the market, in a couple of months?
Well, the sheer diversity of synthetic drugs that have been detected so far globally is mind-boggling, really. And I think one of the greatest challenges for law enforcement is that when you're trying to target, let's say, cocaine or heroin, you know what you're looking for in a way. You have an idea of where it's going to originate. You have an idea of the routes that it's taking, and it's more a matter of trying to get the right intelligence to interdict on those. With synthetics, you really have no idea the diversity or the broad spectrum of drugs that are available and or are being made locally, let alone being made abroad and brought into the country. And a lot of the chemical substances that are used to make illegal drugs, they're legal industrial chemicals, solvents, acids, that are super important for the legitimate economy, for legitimate industry.
Yes.
So in order to try and, if you're trying to target that supply side for the chemical manufacturer locally, you risk hampering economic development in many ways. So it's a great challenge for law enforcement.
And just finally, for prosecution, I mean, I think we had an issue here in this country, Jason, where there was a drug that was becoming increasingly used with hugely destructive consequences called nyaupe. And one of the difficulties with prosecution following seizure or confiscation of production equipment was that the law didn't quite clearly frame this as an illegal drug. And I'm just thinking, with the multiplying of product in this way, I mean, is there global experience as to how you can actually pin it down in a more general way so that prosecution doesn't get hamstrung by clever lawyers who says this is illegal?
Well, I think that you've identified one of the great challenges when we're talking about synthetics, and it's that the ability by chemists today, chemists who are working in the drug industry, to synthesize newer substances that are chemically slightly different from original substances, and therefore perhaps outside of the law, whether it's the international scheduling of drugs in terms of identifying what is illegal, or even domestic scheduling of drugs. The ability of organized crime to adapt very quickly from a chemical point of view is one of the greatest challenges for synthetic drugs globally in terms of enforcement and prosecution. And it's one of the things that's really changed the global drug environment itself going forward.
Thank you so much, Jason Eli. Really important report put together by the Global Initiative Against Transnational Organized Crime. And the title of the report, if you want to look it up and have a read, Synthetics and the New Drug World.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja, 1 to 3 p.m.
And I mean, of course, a person should not just rely on what their HR says and the company scheme. They can go and get advice elsewhere on what to do with their money.
So when it actually comes to now you've left the company, if you took a cash portion, that's your choice. The other amount of money that's there, like I said, you have to do something with it. A lot of the times you can move it to your new employment if they've got a pension or a provident scheme in place. And what maybe makes the most sense for each person is if you have your own private retirement annuity with an advisor, you can either put it into your retirement annuity or into a pension preserver. The difference between the two is the preserver will keep whatever rules the funds came from.
Holistic financial advisor Luca Folpini.
702 Afternoons
with Relebogile Mabotja.
Let's walk the talk.
The Lotto jackpot could make all your dreams come true, because tonight you have a chance to win over 13.5 million rand in a total Lotto estimated jackpot. That is life-changing money that could be yours instantly. Catch the live draw tonight at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya.
When you can see what others don't, you can do what others can't. Nedbank is more than just a bank. We're a growth partner because we understand that real success happens when you're looking ahead, spotting opportunities others miss, and planning for tomorrow, today. Think bigger. Think Nedbank Commercial Banking. See money differently. Nedbank. We're licensed FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Every day, something shifts. A rate decision, a currency move, a headline that changes everything, until tomorrow's does. Change is constant, and for us, that's not a problem to manage. It's where opportunity lives. For 35 years, we've navigated it to seek out the best opportunities for you, wherever they may be. Change is opportunity. We're always ready to invest in it. 91, investing for a world of change. 91 is an authorized FSP.
Solve exciting riddles and unravel a web of suspense and adventure with Hollywood Bets and Spinners on Kim Mystery Parcel. You stand a chance to win a share of 1 million rand in cash and bonus bets. Start your quest and bet 2 rand or more on selected Playtech slots every Wednesday between 2:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. and Sunday from 4:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. What scintillating secret will your parcel reveal? Bet now. T's and C's apply. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop. South African Responsible Gambling Foundation toll-free counseling line 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710.
This is EWN.
The Nkabinde inquiry hands over its report and around 30,000 undocumented migrants repatriated from KZN. Good afternoon, I'm Bali Lamini. The Nkabinde inquiry has handed its report to President Cyril Ramaphosa following the completion of its proceedings. The inquiry was established by the President to look into the fitness to hold office of Johannesburg prosecution's boss Andrew Chauke. That inquiry was prompted by a complaint by former NPA boss Shamila Batoyi. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya has confirmed receipt of that report.
President Ramaphosa has expressed his appreciation to the inquiry chairperson, Judge Nkabinde, who was assisted by Advocate Elizabeth Baloyi Mere, SC, and attorney Matseho Ramachacha, for the work undertaken by the panel. The President will now study the report and subsequently make a determination.
Former Western Cape Education MEC David Maynier has become one of 2 new ministers to be sworn in at the Union Buildings today. He will now head up the Department of Forestry, Fisheries and Environment. Maynier, a former DA MP, will return to Parliament in the seat left vacant following the resignation of Dion George last year. The ANC's Dina Pule has also been sworn in as Social Development Minister this afternoon. Her appointment has attracted much criticism because she was fired as Communications Minister in 2013 following findings of unethical conduct. President Cyril Ramaphosa introduced the new appointments a short while ago.
David John Manier to be Minister of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment, and Diana Deli Wepule, the Minister of Social Development. I now request Acting Deputy Chief Justice Mhlandla to either swear or affirm them into office.
At the same time, the DAs John Steenhuisen, Yusuf Karim and Jack Bloom have also been sworn in, them as deputy ministers. While Home Affairs Minister Leon Schreiber says around 30,000 undocumented migrants have been successfully repatriated from KZN alone. Thousands of foreign nationals have chosen to return to their home countries following yesterday's nationwide anti-illegal immigration protests. Many remain camped in Musina today, where they are waiting for processing by Home Affairs and the issuing of the necessary documents for them to cross the Beitbridge border. Speaking at the port of entry today, Schreiber says many more foreign nationals are still in the process of being repatriated.
But what I can say is that in terms of the repatriation process overall,
There were over 30,000 individuals out of eThekwini alone that we've repatriated. The latest number of buses from the government side that we've processed is 525 buses. So indeed, we're looking at tens of thousands of individuals that's already been successfully repatriated. It's a massive operation. It's truly unprecedented.
At the same time, the Cape Chamber of Commerce says the nationwide anti-illegal immigration protest that took place yesterday had very little impact in Cape Town. Demonstrations were held across the country in a campaign to prompt government to improve immigration management. Authorities in the Cape did confirm isolated incidents of public violence, theft and malicious damage to property linked to the protests. That's where 13 people were arrested. Quinton Mgyala has more.
Chamber of Commerce's safety head, Hubert Bolser, says fear of looters and chaos that many businesses anticipated in the build-up to the June 30th protest did not materialize.
However, there was still a noticeable impact. Many small businesses took a cautious approach, with some choosing to close for the day or reduce trading hours because of the uncertainty. This uncertainty alone had a significant economic impact, particularly on small businesses that rely on daily trade.
Bolser says yesterday's protest highlighted the importance of collaboration between law enforcement, private security, business and communities. Quinton Mgyala, Eyewitness News, Cape Town.
And the United Nations says the deadly Ebola outbreak in the DRC could cost Africa $3.6 billion. The country has recorded more than 1,000 cases and 399 deaths, while 189 people have recovered from the virus. AFP is reporting that the UN Development Programme says the epidemic is sparking a far-reaching socio-economic crisis, which could push 985,000 more people into poverty. The UN is also warning that the DRC is projected to see around 44,000 job losses. Gold is trading at $4,091.06 an ounce. The rand is at 16.37 to the dollar, 21.73 to the pound, 18.68 to the euro, and Brent crude oil is at $72.95 a barrel.
Leaving Soweto, heading towards Alberton, there's a stationary truck in Gilview. This is blocking the N1 at Kliprefir Drive. Traffic is currently at a standstill all the way from Xavier Road, so rather use rifle range. That's off Xavier as an alternative. Pimville travelling into Soweto, slow-moving traffic on Chris Hani Road between Bara Hospital and Klipspruit Valley. Eldorado Park roadwork still causing more than a 20-minute delay on the N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road.
And in your sport, Rebuhile Mofokeng Europe bound after Orlando Pirates confirm his departure to Belgian Giants. Bafana Bafana are making their way back to South Africa following the exit from the FIFA World Cup, and we'll have some results from Wimbledon.
A partly cloudy Thursday in store for Gauteng tomorrow. Johannesburg dropping to overnight lows of 9 degrees, peaking at 15. Pretoria 9 and 18, and Vereeniging 12 and 13 degrees. The top story in EWN. The Nkabinde inquiry has handed its report to President Cyril Ramaphosa following the completion of its proceedings.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
7:02.
Drive home with John Perlman.
John Perlman, 3 to 6 p.m.
On 92.7 and 106 FM. Let's walk the talk.
7:02 Drive, it's 8 minutes past 5. Good to have you with us on the show. Coming up shortly, we're going to be looking ahead to the Proteas women's semi-final. They are in the T20 World Cup. They're up against England. England, the home team. Match being played at the Oval on the south side of London. It's a fabulous ground. It's a ground where South African cricketers in general have had fabulous success. England, I think, very strong favourites coming into the game, but the sense I'm getting from the South African camp is that they actually don't mind that terribly much. We'll be talking shortly to Danae van Niekerk, who has been involved with South Africa in limited overs World Cups over many, many years. Key part of the team and we're going to get her thoughts ahead of the huge match tomorrow. It is great. I mean, obviously, we were very sad when we went out of the Football World Cup, but South Africa never very far away from some big sporting event where the opportunities to grow national pride present themselves once again. Yeah, we'll be chatting to Danae, as I said, at about 13 minutes past 5 o'clock. We've been asking you some questions about what are the early signs that tell you that somebody may not necessarily be the very best person for you to get entangled with and involved with. What are the red and orange flags? Getting some very interesting feedback from you on that, and we'll play some of those. We've got all the business news with Stephen Curtis, and Anthony Teixeira will be updating us shortly, not so shortly, a little bit later after 5:30 on what's happening in the world of sport. 702 Drive, it's 5:10.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
For me, I'm really lucky. I can even spot people, and if it's very bad, I actually dream about the bad things that the person has done or does in the dark. So I am, maybe it's also because I'm a gifted person, but yeah, I can spot a crappy person from far.
Hi, John. I'm actually someone that can judge someone's character pretty quickly, and I'm normally accurate and correct. But one of the biggest things that I use to judge someone's character is their discipline when it comes to being on time. I'm someone that is very big on being on time, and I just think it's respect for, the other person that you are meeting with. So if someone is constantly late and they make excuses for it, or they don't see a problem with being late, then I'm just like, okay, no, this needs to end. This friendship, this business, it's not going further. If you can't respect my time, then you're surely not going to respect what we're busy with here. So goodbye. Yolani.
Hi, John and the team. This is Annie from Pretoria. So signs that I look for is, how do people treat their juniors? How do they treat the cleaning staff? How do they deal with input from their juniors or criticism from seniors? Do they blame other people? If they are mean to people like cleaners or their junior staffs, or dismiss a junior's input, then immediately it's a no for me.
Yeah, and Granny T adds 3 more. Red flag people, she says, they take every subject being discussed and make it about them. They talk about their illnesses every time. And finally, when given an advice on what to do, they have no money. It's 12 minutes past 5. Keep those coming, please.
You're with John Perlman
on 702.
So, we're going to do traffic in just a moment, but today's International Reggae Day. We've been asking you simply this. Send us your favorite reggae song. We'll play as many of those as we can in the last part of the show. We got things going, though, with this Bob Marley gem. And many of you would know that Stevie Wonder also did a song called Jammin', in which he referenced Bob Marley in that song. Very nice. Sort of moment of respect between two musical greats. 0727021702. Send us your song requests, suggestions, please. That's the number to use. 13 minutes past 5.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now. You could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. We have delays in Gilview, and Karabo Chale has those details for you.
Yeah, that's if you're leaving the Soweto area heading towards Alberton, Gilview, stationary truck blocking the whole of the N1 at the Kliprefuge Drive. So that means the whole highway, all lanes are affected. At this stage, traffic is completely at a standstill all the way from Xavier. So rather get off at Xavier and use Rifle Range Hopefully that will save you some time. There's also heavy delays due to roadworks in the El Dorado Park area. Expect about a 20-minute delay N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. Bryanston accident scene N1 South before Winnie Mandela Drive, causing huge delays all the way from the Batlu interchange. Sunning Hill, you can expect about a 20-minute delay. This is on Witkoppen Road between Rivonia Road and Maxwell Drive. Still in the Rivonia area, roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay on Rivonia Road from Rivonia Junction all the way to Witkoppen Road. Straighton Park, bumper-to-bumper traffic on Malibongo Drive approaching CR Swart due to faulty traffic lights. And finally, in Mamelodi, there's slow-moving traffic on Zamaya Avenue approaching Watlu. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app. Clever excuses for being late, number 94.
I ran out of petrol and had to push my car to the petrol station. Fortunately, with the Outsurance Pointsman on the roads, you no longer have to come up with creative excuses for being late. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702, Outsurance is a licensed insurer in the FSP.
Aubrey Masango.
Weekday evenings,
8 to midnight.
In many ways, the march was not just about immigrants. The march was also a march in terms of our government saying that we are fed up with you. Because we've become a bureaucratic state and not a caring government with a plan and a vision to lift our people out of their impoverished lives. And this is what this is showing each time. So you have a press conference at the end of the marches and you say, oh, well, we did well. But it's not done.
Donovan Williams, International Relations Analyst.
Aubrey Masango.
8 to midnight on 702.
702.
Managing your money is one thing, but having the right team to guide you on every move is another. And these days, it's not just local, it's global too. That's where FNB Private comes in. With a full team of advisors, FNB Private helps you grow your wealth, plan for your family, and put the right structures in place, from investments and property to trusts, here and abroad. Because it's not just about one win, it's about every decision that gets you there. FNB is a division of First Rand Bank Limited, an authorized financial services and credit provider.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Bamise bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Well, let's focus our attention now on a World Cup semi-final and an opportunity for South Africa's women's Proteas team to get themselves into another limited overs ICC final. The Proteas are up against England. The venue is the Oval, scene of some great South African performances. The game takes place tomorrow evening. England come into the game, I think it's fair to say, as firm favourites, not just because they are the hosts, but because they have hardly been touched really in the group stages, winning most of their matches and very comfortably as well. But what is the mood in the South African camp, and what are they saying in preparation? Let's welcome to the show then Danae van Niekerk, leg break bowler and middle order batsman and a key member of the Proteas squad. Danae, a very good afternoon to you. Very interesting things coming out of the Proteas camp saying, well, the fact that we haven't been playing all that well, Marizan Cup saying the team's been performing roughly at 60%, could be a good thing, that form is not everything. Maybe this is the moment when a big performance is due. How are you guys feeling? It sounds to me like quiet confidence could be a description.
Hi, John. Firstly, thank you for having me. Yeah, look, we're gonna lie if we say we haven't been firing at all cylinders. So I think Marizon is correct in saying that we have only been operating around about there, and for us to still make a semi-final and we're not playing our best cricket is a good sign. So yeah, quiet confidence is probably the word. You go to every World Cup wanting to win it, and the team has gone really close in the near past. So hopefully we can make take one step further and really go all the way.
If you look at the T20 head-to-head, and even if you extend it to the 50-over game, Danae, England certainly beat us more than we beat them, but there have been a couple of real sort of signature wins, I suppose. If we go back to the T20 World Cup of 2023, a semi-final in Cape Town, which South Africa won by 6 runs, a very good opening partnership, and Ayabonga Kaka taking 4 wickets, a huge win in the 2025 ODI semi-final. Do you guys look back at those games and look for any signs or signals, or is it a clean slate every time you step out?
Yeah, look, I think that's just a confidence builder, knowing, it's different to go into that, not having those W's behind your name against a team like that. So I think it's definitely a confidence booster, and we certainly have better memories in ICC events, than them in I guess lately. So but it's still a clean slate. It's still a new game, different conditions to the other 2 semi-finals. So. And they're at home. It's their backyard, so they're going to have a point to prove. And so it's just clean slate. Take every ball as a new, I guess, opportunity, and hopefully we can come out as victors.
Danae, you've been away from the game for a while, but just looking back on the records, 23rd of February out in Australia, again, the T20 World Cup, this time in 2020. South Africa won by 6 wickets, and certain Danae van Niekerk was player of the match, 46 with a bat and 2 wickets. Finding your way back into the game the way you are, I mean, are those kind of memories particularly important for you? Just reminding yourself of what you do when you are at your absolute best.
Yeah, look, it feels like another lifetime ago, to be honest.
Really? Okay.
But no, with a career as long as mine, there's a lot of good memories to hold on to. Certainly that is one example. It was a very tough day, and I had to dig deep that day. So I can really draw reference to that day. But as I say, it's we all know what every player can do when they're at their best, within our camp. And hopefully, tomorrow is one of those days where it's, more of our players' day than theirs. And, we know when we're at our absolute best, we can beat any team in the world. It's just about us making sure that, we trust the preparation and the processes that we've been following. And what, God willing, it turns to our favor.
I've always been curious when I chat to elite sports people, Danae, about ahead of a game, because obviously on match day you're not getting and doing interviews at that stage. But when there is some, I call it time to kill, because that's the way it appears to me. But with a game more or less 24 hours away, I mean, how do you guys deal with the downtime? Is it a relief and something you can use productively, or does time drag a bit?
Oh, I always found that the night games felt like the day was dragging a little bit, and you're in your head a little bit. But I mean, that also comes with experience, how to handle that. It's just trying to keep yourself busy. No, we get used to it. As I say, we've been doing it. A lot of players here has been doing it for a very long time, and I know everybody's got their own kind of stuff to do. We've got primers, going to the gym and all those things. So it's just. Yeah, it's a bit of a relief, because you're not training per se, but
Yes.
it obviously is a mental battle, not to think too far ahead. That's what we try and do as a team, and coach is very big on that, is really trying to be where our feet's at, and really not thinking too far ahead or too far back, and just making sure that we kind of present. So it's something we've really been working on like a mental side of it. So yeah, as I said, everybody's got their own way of, I guess, handling it. But I just always felt like it dragged a little bit. But a night game, yeah, in London, it might not be dark, but it's still special. We've played at the Oval many times for the Oval Invincibles. So there's a lot of players, yeah, that's familiar with I guess the conditions as well. So it can work in our favor when our brains go a bit. We can just reference back to those experiences.
Do you have a DJ on the bus and a dressing room DJ as well, or is everyone got their own pods and just playing whatever music works for them?
Yeah, most of the players have their pods in, especially on our way to the game. I think everybody just wants, I guess, their own stuff. We've got Annerie Dirksen that's a loudmouth in the team, and she tries to get the vibe up with the speaker. But yeah, there's some oldies in the team which sometimes they get a bit frustrated, myself included, because you just want your own, I guess, music in your ears. But no, I think everybody just wants to make sure that they do what they need to do, and everybody respects it around each other to make sure that we do what we need to be ready on a personal level.
Yeah, and just finally, I mean, the life of an oldie in general, where they're younger people who always want things to be a little bit noisier. Laura Wolfart's not her best tournament so far when we won that semi-final, when you guys won that semi-final in 2025, a massive innings of 169. Obviously, she's crucial for the team, but I guess in cricket teams, there is an acceptance, given, that when you're out, that, your star player may not deliver. But she doesn't seem fazed by this. Would that be a fair assessment?
I won't say she's not fazed, but I think she knows how to handle it. And, her job is not just being a batter, it's also being, the captain, the leader. So
Right.
you can't kind of have the captain in, I guess, a dark place. And she's definitely not. She's really handling everything well and taking everything in stride. She's been training incredibly well. She's I said, she's the epitome of professionalism. She just hits balls on end. And when we found out that we made the semi-final, I just texted her and said, I know you'll come good when the time's right. And with players of her caliber, John, there's very few times in their career where they'll fail 3 to 4 times in a row. So I know with her quality, as not just as our captain, but as a batter and a cricketer, she'll come good when we need her to, as she's shown in the past in the semi-finals and finals and stuff. So I'm not too bothered by her form going into the semi. I think she's just one hit away from finding that form again, and hopefully again tomorrow, I believe, can be that day.
Danae, thank you so much for giving us your time. Thank you for all the pleasure you've given South African cricket fans over the tournament, and we wish you really, really all the best against England at the Oval tomorrow night.
Thank you so much, John. Appreciate it.
Okay, 27 minutes past 5. Yeah, I'm definitely I know there's World Cup football on, but my spot on the couch is very much focused on the cricket. So it's going to be a terrific game. And I find very interesting what Marizanne Kapp was saying, that, we're not coming in the very best form, but in an interview she gave to News 24, she said this, I'm always scared if you have everything go your way and you just smash everyone. I'm more afraid of that, actually, than reaching the semi-finals the way we have played. Hope she's right. Main thing is, as long as she believes she's right, that could easily turn out to be another great day for the Proteas women. 28 minutes past 5.
EWN Business.
Stephen Curtis, a very good afternoon to you. How's the day been for people hoping to make money, or at least hoping to hang on to what they have?
John, good afternoon. Yeah, not great, I suppose, is the answer. The JSE All Share down 0.64%, 109,600 13 points. Financials down 1.86 at the end of the day. Quite a lot of weakness in financial shares, actually. We'll talk more about that on the Money Show. Industrials down 0.68. Resources up 0.84, partly because gold and platinum prices are up by around 2% on the day, but really because South 32 is up 11.3% on the day. That's after confirmation they're selling the Hillside smelter in Richards Bay and some of their other assets to the American or Canadian firm Alcoa Corporation. So the Bayside property, it is idling. There are all sorts of issues around power and smelters, John, as you know. 92 billion rand is the total worth of the deal. Doesn't include the Moselle smelter in Mozambique. That's not operating because there's no power pricing agreement there. But a really big deal for South 32 and kind of a deal that maybe suits them a little bit more than Alcoa. We'll hear from David Mackay at Mining MX on the Money Show about that this evening. But a really startling and very interesting deal for them. Bytes up nearly 4%, up Tasia up 3%. Some of the platinum miners doing nicely. Implat's up 2.71%, and the Goldfields up 2.37%. And then Canol Plus up 2%. Clicks and Telkom both up by around 2% as well on the day. Financial shares down, partly because Absa's down 4.34%. And John, we had that update out yesterday, which was much weaker than I think the market had wanted. And as a result, Absa took a bit of punishment yesterday and more today. Sasol also down 3.5%, and British American Tobacco down 3.7%. Mr. Price down 3% as well. And then some of the other financial shares like Standard Bank down 2.7% on the day. In the US, a few concerns around the long-term prospects for peace in the Middle East. The Dow Jones is up 0.2%. The Nasdaq is down 0.3%. The S&P 500 is up 0.05% on the day. The gold price, $4,086.81. Platinum, $1,588.90. Brent crude, $71.31. The rand to the dollar, 16.39 to the euro, 18.66 to the British pound, 21.75. So on the Money Show, the South 32 deal, we'll talk about what's been a big increase in economic value of the cars that we make here in South Africa. The phase Umbud, the Umbud for financial services providers, lots of warnings and more warnings about online trading, John, and particularly CFDs, contracts for difference. It seems that, just about everybody loses money on those things unless you really know what you're doing. So we're going to be talking about that. We'll talk a little bit more about the cost of yesterday's protests. And then the person you want to talk to, if you want to understand how fintech works. Satio Lopokoyet is the Chief Executive of Personal and Private Banking at Absa. Used to run M-Pesa in Kenya. Satio is your shapeshifter this evening. Looking forward to that conversation. Stephen Curtis, EWN Business.
Plenty ahead between 6 and 8 with Stephen. That is the Money Show. It's 29 minutes to 6 right now. Let's get the very latest eyewitness news now from Mbali Dlamini, starting down in Parliament. That ad hoc committee looking into police corruption is reviewing what they've found. What are they saying? Mbali, good afternoon.
Well, John, a very good afternoon. DA Chief Whip Glenys Breitenbach says the Parliamentary Ad Hoc Committee, which is probing police corruption, has no powers to find people guilty. She adds that the months of hearings have provided the committee with just information and not evidence that can be used to pursue those fingered in police interference and corruption. Breitenbach and members of the committee were making their submissions and recommendations on the committee's draft report today. Babalondenze has more.
Members of the ad hoc committee are not all in agreement about what actions should be taken against implicated people. They made several submissions on what should be included in the report and what the recommendations should be. But committee member Glenys Breitenbach is of the view that the committee's powers don't extend to act against anyone.
We cannot find people guilty. We cannot find people innocent. We can find that people have misled us when the objective, glaring facts suggest that.
She says the committee's own report suggests that they are not dealing with evidence in the legal sense.
Because what we heard here was not evidence. It was information. It was not tested. It wasn't cross-examined.
Other committee members also submitted that there's no evidence that suggests that Minister on Special Leave, Senzo Mchunu, is corrupt and he should be treated fairly. Babalondenze, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
A Malawian shop owner in Kukompo in the Eastern Cape says he fears for his safety as tensions over illegal immigration continue to rise in South Africa. Yesterday, anti-illegal immigration activists marched in several parts of the country, including Kukompo, demanding that undocumented migrants leave the country. Although most of the demonstrations were peaceful, some areas reported the looting of shops owned by foreign nationals. Ntutu Zelonene reports.
While there were isolated incidents of unrest elsewhere in the Eastern Cape, Kukompo remained largely calm. Eyewitness News visited Southern Hood, home to many businesses owned by foreign nationals. One Malawian shop owner says he has valid documentation to be in South Africa, but fears that may not be enough to protect him.
We are not safe, even if you have got proper papers from Home Affairs, but these people who organize this thing don't care whether you have got paper or you don't have a paper. So on that issue, we are scared.
His concerns come as thousands of Malawian nationals have left South Africa through deportation and voluntary repatriation amid growing fears linked to tensions over illegal immigration. Ntutu Zelonene, Eyewitness News, Kukompo.
And in Belarus, the presidency has pardoned 28 political prisoners convicted of extremist crimes. According to a statement, they form part of a total of 32 people who were pardoned ahead of Belarus's Independence Day. The country has released hundreds of political prisoners since last year, in part to secure sanctions relief from the United States. Among them are journalists, opposition politicians, as well as activists. The country still counts more than 800 political prisoners in its jails, many of whom were arrested during mass opposition protests against President Alexander Lukashenko's disputed re-election in 2020. While a partly cloudy Thursday, becoming fine in Gauteng tomorrow, lows of between 9 and 12 degrees and highs of between 13 and 18.
In the city of Tshwane, traffic is congested in Mamelodi on Tsamaya Avenue approaching Watlu Road. In the Pretoria CBD, expect delays on Paul Kruger between Struben and Flower Street due to faulty traffic lights. And leaving the Pretoria CBD, the traffic is barely moving in Hermanstad on Eskiam Pahlele between Versaghi and the R80.
The top story in EWN. DA Chief Whip Glenys Breitenbach says the Parliament's ad hoc committee probing allegations of police corruption has no powers to find anyone guilty.
The Midday Report.
Weekdays,
12 to 1.
What are Feroz Khan's lawyers saying about this? Are they arguing that perhaps this would infringe on his right to a defense?
The questioning of him could potentially infringe or reveal secret crime intelligence information and could compromise investigations. And that really has been the line of his defense. What's extraordinary, of course, about this situation is that we have these parallel criminal processes. But I think given those WhatsApp messages and what has emerged already, that horse has profoundly bolted already.
The Midday Report
with Mandy Wiener.
12 to 1 on 702.
702.
Mzansi, the excitement is building. The 130th running of the Hollywood Bets Durban July takes place on Saturday, 4 July. This year's theme, Country Allure, draws from the richness of our land. A celebration of heritage, freedom and style, inspired by our beautiful countryside. It's more than a race. It's where champions are made, stories are written, and greatness is unleashed. World-class horse racing, bold fashion, music, culture, and a day of endless excitement at Hollywood Bets Greyville Racecourse. Get your tickets now at Ticket Pro and release your glamour at the Hollywood Bets Durban July, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event.
Smart business moves mean more cash flow. Switch to Outsurance Business Insurance and you could get a massive 20% discount on your business insurance premium. Here's Dr. Fahim from Matrix Dental.
We were with our previous insurers for many years prior to the switch. We found that Outsurance really understood our business needs. We are happy with our premiums. I wish we had switched sooner.
Get a quote to switch and save today. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 0800 60,000. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
In the last 24 hours, this is what's happened in your world.
While it's been an extremely long day of queuing under Musina's scorching sun, it appears the Malawian nationals are in for an even longer night at the local showgrounds. A thick layer of dust hangs in the air as the ground beneath them is nothing more than dry sand and withered grass. But despite the harsh conditions, several children can be seen joyfully playing, which is in stark contrast to the mood of their parents. This Malawian national says home is where his heart is.
Yeah, our Malawi is safe when we go there, but here we are not safe because if you can see this police this evening, but when it's midnight you can't find them.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. 702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Afternoon, John and the team. A person who is constantly asking the question, who, me, during a conversation, that tells you that that person won't turn out great. Yeah, there's two of us. Why are you asking who, me? So a person that is constantly asking who, me, you must know that after that, it's a lie.
I've never thought about that. Very good. Very interesting indeed. We asked the question, if you're wondering what that was referencing, the question, what are those little early signs that you've picked up that tell you in good time that, you know what, this person is going to turn out not to be all that great? Red and orange flags is where we have been exploring. Who, me? Yep, me. It's 21 minutes to 6.
EWN Sport.
Anthony Teixeira, lots going on, man. What are you starting with?
Well, we're going to start with the FIFA World Cup as the first kickoff of the evening encounters is just almost 20 minutes away, with England set to take on DR Congo. Thomas Tuchel insisting that the English will only get better throughout the knockout tournament.
We will see the best version of us if we overcome the next rounds and go further in the tournament. Once we play on the level where teams want to actually beat us and not just like hold us down and refuse us to play. I think this is not the moment now to shine and to expect glamorous performances. This is the moment to go through, to get the job done, to step up, to show individual quality.
10 p.m. Senegal meet Belgium, and overnight the USA will take on Bosnia and Herzegovina. The World Cup may be taking most of the football bandwidth, but that isn't stopping clubs from doing their business. Orlando Pirates agreed a deal with Belgian side Union Saint-Gilloise for the signing of Relebohile Mofokeng, and Sipho Mbule agreed to a deal with Iraqi side Zako. Xabi Alonso concluded his first signing at Chelsea, with right-back Marco Palastra set to join from Atalanta. In tennis, Serena Williams' hopes of playing alongside sister Venus in the Wimbledon doubles is in doubt. This is after Williams injured her knee in her singles comeback loss to Maya Joint Tuesday and is now in a race for tomorrow's doubles match and fitness. On court, Aryna Sabalenka pushed all the way by McCartney Kessler. Eventually, she won 6-1, 7-6, although she says it wasn't as routine as you might think with a straight set victory.
That was a true battle, and I'm super happy that I was able to stay in that second set and to get into the tie break. And that was really a great fight, incredible level in the second set from her. And she really tested me today, and I'm super happy to pass the test.
Men's number one Yannick Sinner also picking up a straight set second round win at Wimbledon. Still to come, Novak Djokovic up against Stefanos Tsitsipas this evening, and Springboks head coach Rassie Erasmus says the hunger to win for South Africa remains even after World Cup and Rugby Championship titles. They're set to start their test season Saturday at Ellis Park against England.
My biggest fear is not stop coaching or us losing a game or two. It's that feeling that we currently have as South Africans together. The togetherness is something really that gives me adrenaline and a rush, and I enjoy that, and I love that. So I've got a fear of that going away, and I think that's why we try to work so hard, because we love that.
Anthony Teixeira, Eyewitness News Sport.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. At 18 minutes to 6, Karabochali, I know you're going to start off with some good news.
Yeah, definitely. If you're leaving Soweto, heading towards Alberton, that stationary truck in Gilview on the N1 northbound at Klip Refuge Drive has been cleared and traffic should be back to normal shortly. However, if you're traveling into Soweto, traffic remains sluggish in Pimville. This is on Chris Hani Road between Bara Hospital and Klipspruit Valley Road. Eldorado Park roadworks causing more than a 30-minute delay. N12 westbound between the Golden Highway and Klipspruit Valley Road. Bryanston, we still have that accident scene, N1 South before Winnie Mandela Drive, causing huge delays from the Petlu interchange. Sunning Hill, also about a 20-minute delay on Witkoppen Road between Rivonia Road and Maxwell Drive. And in Rivonia, roadworks causing about a 20-minute delay. This is on Rivonia Road between Rivonia Junction and Witkoppen. If you come across any other traffic issues, kindly WhatsApp us on 072-702-1702.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Outsurance can't improve your karaoke skills, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. SMS out to 45142. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. Want all the bells and whistles of car insurance at a great price? It's time to switch to Outsurance. Not only could they save you some big bucks, you also get the legendary out bonus that pays you a percentage of your premiums back if you're claim-free. So, are you ready to switch and save? Don't miss out. SMS right now to make sure you always get something out. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online.
You're with John Perlman on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
702 Drive, it's 16 minutes to 6. I mentioned right at the start of the show that today's International Reggae Day. We asked you to send us your favorite songs, and we're already getting some great ones. Let's hear the first.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
Hi, John. Jimmy Cliff's Love Solution is one of my favorites.
Hey, Ndada John and team. On this International Reggae Day, my favorite reggae song will be The Sixth and the Seventh Books by Toots and the Maytals.
Toots and the Maytals. Interestingly enough, there's quite a lot written about the origins of the name reggae for this musical style. But one thing, and there's debates about that, by the way, but the one thing there seems to be consensus on is that it was Toots and the Maytals who actually were the very, very first to use the term reggae in a song title. And that was in 1968, a single called Do the Reggae. So a good place to start, I would suggest. Thank you for that. More of your song selections shortly on 702 Drive.
Clement Maniatella.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Paul, you are being disingenuous when you look at Tony Leon's influence. He is a revered former leader of the DA. He was the author of a report that led to Musi Maimane being removed together with other people. So that tells you that he's still an asset to this organization. He was part of a team that negotiated the GNU. So he can't be treated like that. Not when he uses his proximity to officials to serve his clients.
But Clement, what is the actual logical conclusion that you're drawing here? Of course, Tony's got a long and storied history. He's got a very principled one, fighting for the establishment of South Africa's democracy, upholding and protecting it.
Is Starlink your client?
Yes, Starlink is a client of ours.
Did you do social media work for them as well?
No.
Paul Bowie, CEO of Resolve Communications.
Clements Maniatella.
9 to 12 on 702.
The Lotto jackpot could make all your dreams come true because tonight you have a chance to win over 13.5 million rand in a total Lotto estimated jackpot. That's life-changing money that could be yours instantly. Catch the live draw tonight at 9 p.m. on ETV and SABC. You could become SA's next multi-millionaire. The National Lottery. More plays, more chances, more millions. Players must be 18 years or older. Play responsibly. The National Lottery is officially operated by Sizekaya.
On Sunday, 26 July, the entire city unites for the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Walk the Talk. And because Joburg is more than just a city, we'll be walking for the people. So join us and help make a difference to homelessness in the city by entering on primemediaplus.com and donating vouchers.
Donate the voucher.
Which is a cashless way to give, helping people experiencing homelessness access a hot shower, a meal, a bed, or more support. Anybody can join and everybody can donate. 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the City of Johannesburg. Enter and donate now on primemediaplus.com.
702. WhatsApp John
on 072
702
1702.
John, my favorite reggae song is Tomorrow People by Ziggy Marley. I will just stand up and dance anywhere where I hear that song. At home, at the mall, once it plays, I'm there on my feet tapping away. I just love it. It just raises something at the back of my back that just makes me want to dance. Thank you. Thank you for the good show. Bye. It's Boozy from Pretoria.
Afternoon, John and team. Oh, John, my favorite reggae music. It's Eric Donaldson. My number one in his album is one that is called Common People. Oh my goodness, I love that guy. I love his music.
Living on free food ticket, water in the milk from the holes in the roof when the rain came through. What can you do? Ooh, tears from your little sister, crying 'cause she doesn't have a dress without a patch or a party to go. What do you know? She'll get back, for she's living in the love of a common people. Smiles from the heart of a family man. Daddy's gonna buy you twinkle, twinkle. Mommy's gonna love you till as much as she can. It's a good thing you don't have a bus fare. It would fall through the holes in your pocket and you lose it in the snow on the ground. You got to walk into town to find a job.
Eric Donaldson, his take on a song that was done in the 60s, actually, Love of the Common People. Best reggae songs, we are sharing yours on International Reggae Day. Pooms goes to Peter Tosh and this song, The Day the Dollar Die.
I see Johnny with his head hanging down, wondering how many shillings left in that town. Cost of living, it is rising so high. Dollars see that had heart attack and died. Budgets are waiting. Yeah. Finance ministers anticipating. Unemployment is rising.
Off his album Mystic Man, came out in 1979. Peter Tosh, such a distinctive and a real texture to his voice there. Great stuff. Okay, great reggae songs. Let's keep going.
Hi, John. Chivas here in Boxburg. A reggae song for me would be August Town by Dwayne Stevenson. Chivas Boxburg.
A word from the wise, don't try to make life on your own. Remember that Jah just by your side. For I was a soul who was lost, and my life was in dismay. For among evil forces in which I played, guns and ammunition were my chosen way of life.
August Town there, the sound of Dwayne Stevenson. Richard takes us to the UK for his selection. UB40, this one's called Tyler.
Appeal to the governor of Louisiana. You may get an answer, the process is slow. Federal cop won't do much to help him. It's been 40 years and they've just let him go. Tyler is guilty, white judges said so. What right do we have to say it's not so? Tyler is guilty, white judges said so. What right do we have to say it's not so?
Yeah, I think fair to say that was UB40's first big album, 1980, called Signing Off. That song called Tyler. A couple of you giving us your suggestions with text messages. Lottie says, my favorite reggae song, No Woman, No Cry by Bob Marley. Bob Marley coming up in quite a lot of your suggestions, but lots of other artists coming into focus as well. I'm just looking to see what else is being suggested. Please keep those coming on 072 702 1702. And if you want to give us a call, do so on 011 883 0702.
That's it, John. After the day I've had, my reggae song is Red Red Wine by UB40. Yo, I need that glass. Mama, yo.
Uncle John, my favorite reggae song, Peter Tosh, Reggae My Lighties, takes me way back when I was growing up. Thanks, Uncle John. Great show.
Good afternoon, Tate John and the crew. For International Reggae Day, my favorite song will be Behold, produced by Joseph Hill and his band Culture. Tango!
I was traveling up the mountains one day, and suddenly I heard a voice come to I and say,
Behold by Culture. Rasipaga Paga struggled to narrow it down to one song. So let me share with you all 5 of his, actually, not 4. I thought it was 4. Gregory Isaacs, Cool Down the Pace. Peter Tosh, Recruiting Soldiers, and My Blood Runs Cold. Rasipaga Paka also takes us back to the UK with Linton Kwesi Johnson, Sunny's Letter, and finally Marsha Griffiths, Stepping Out of Babylon.
Hi there, John. My favorite song, especially now, hey, it's Africa Unite by Bob Marley. Can you please make it the last song? Please, please, please. Especially now, at this time in our lives here in South Africa. Africa Unite, Bob Marley.
Africa unite, 'cause we're moving right out of Babylon, and we're going to our father's land. Yeah. How good and how pleasant it would be before God and man, yeah, to see the unification of all Africans, yeah.
From 1979, Bob Marley with Africa Unite. One more. This one, I don't know who sent this, but I'm sure many people will be delighted to have us bring it back home for the very last song. My favorite reggae song, the message says, Oh My Son by Lucky Dube. Lucky Dube bringing us to an end of today's International Reggae Day and today's edition of 702 Drive. I'm John Perlman. Have a great Wednesday evening from all of us. Good night.
And now, The Money Show
with Stephen Grootes, live on 92.7 and 106 FM. Streaming on the Prime Media Plus app
and DSTV channel 856.
The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is brought to you by ABSA Rewards. Get double cash back when an African team scores and wins at the FIFA World Cup 2026. Courtesy of Visa. T's and C's apply. Good evening. On your Money Show tonight, South 32 jumps as it sells the Hillside smelter to Alcoa, while Alcoa stands to benefit from big changes in the global aluminium industry. NAAMSA says the economic value of our car industry is jumping dramatically. The FI's Ombudsman issues another warning over trading online as other regulators say 3/4 of people who trade contracts for difference are losing money. We look at the personal cost of yesterday's protests. Advita Naidu looks at when you can wear your football, rugby or cricket top to work. And your shapeshifter this evening, one of the people at the centre of the fintech explosion, ABSA's Satyo Lupokoyet. All of that to come. But first, the very latest Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Stephen. Good evening. I'm Kombuzile Tabete. The presidency has confirmed receipt of the report by the Nkabinde inquiry following the completion of its work. The inquiry was established by President